Right, what's going on, everybody? Another day in paradise. As you can see, the title of the stream is Black American Identity Policing of Tyla. So, we're going to center this discussion around Tyla, as you can see pictured here, the proud South African colored woman who is making a name for herself in the entertainment music industry. And also, next or to the side of her, you can see the dark skinned fella with the zucchini nose. Phil Advise Show. Actually, funny. Shout out to Creole lady. What's her name? Jezebel. She called him Funky Phil. It's kind of funny. I always like interesting nicknames, right? So that's kind of funny. Yeah, Funky Phil. But Phil Advise Show. You can see here, pictured here in his like kind of quotation saying here, "Y'all need to get right with Black Americans." Now, kind of paraphrasing that, but we're gonna watch a video that he uploaded, okay, a couple days ago that he said in that video, I'm going to share with you guys, he's basically telling Tyla, trying to pressure her to submit to the one drop rule and to serve underneath Black America. Literally. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but we're going to watch it. So it's quite interesting. We're going to center this discussion around that, the interesting dynamic of a lot of Black Americans. Remember, I'm not saying all, but when we examine some of these individuals who have large social media followings, right? And if they're in the pro-black market, because it is a market, and we see how there's an often weaponization of the one drop rule to get those who don't identify as black, they want to try to pressure them to kind of be on their quote unquote team, right? Essentially to bend the knee and be at their will to help them for political influence, basically. And they're dealing with a different monster here, if I can say that, because Tyla, this young aspiring artist, is not American. She's not basically confined to the same Blackistan gaslighting tactics that your typical everyday multiracial in America usually has to kind of endure. They don't have to unless they're in their environments, right? Working with them, going to school with them, trying to be all up in their groups and stuff, right? If you distance yourself from them, you don't really have those issues. But Tyla's in an interesting position because she's trying to tap into this market. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But yeah, as you can see in the thumbnail here, you see Phil Advice Show. Okay, Funky Phil. Shout out to Jezebel. I see her right here. That's pretty funny. Funky Phil. And then you got Tyla here, right? And you have her mom next to her, right? Is South African, clearly looks like she's mixed race, right? I don't know her entire configuration, but clearly some African, I think Zulu, and some other stuff going on there. And then you can see her father to the left of her. Looks clearly has the East Indian kind of aesthetic. I don't know his, entire genetic or heritage makeup. That's like, I'm not even really doing the research like that. The whole discussion, mainly, like I said, focusing on Tyla. She identifies as colored, okay, which is an actual culture, classification, and group of people in South Africa. And she's proudly there with her Grammy Award that she so deserved for her excellent work. So, yeah, I think before I'm going to get into that clip of Phil Advice Show, I'm going to go over the kind of statement that Tyla made on her Instagram, or actually, excuse me, it was her X account, which is formerly known as Twitter. They call it X now. Elon Musk's X. And Tyla made this statement here. Is the timestamp here is like June 13th, right? So it's like literally a month ago, 4 weeks ago of this year. And this was after the whole charlatan defraud kind of debacle, right? And I talked about it. This is like my third stream now kind of covering this because it's essential and it's congruent to the discussions we have here because the same, Blackistan Jedi mind tricks that they play on the Dominicans, multiracials in Caribbean, they played on the mulattoes in America and also like Drake, and then also they played on the South African coloreds, multiracials in Africa. And so we're gonna watch a clip, and of course, Funky Phil, he's gonna take the side of his FBA brother, charlatan the fraud, which is typical. And did I leave anything out? I think something slipped my mind I wanted to say about that Tyla situation. But yeah, okay, because I just before I get into the statement Tyla made, I covered like a couple days ago or a few days ago, my couple streams ago, right? I did a review of the Phil Advice show covering like a Dominican identity, right? Talking about Dominicans. And I'm like, why is this guy so pressed about how these multiracials identify? And we come to find out, well, Phil Advice show has a mixed kid. He has a non-black partner and he has a mixed kid. So it's kind of obvious. We see the kind of conflict of interest there, right? He really wants to push that one drop rule, and he wants to get all the mixed people to identify as black to help him out politically. Remember, to raise him up in society. And of course, it makes the mixed person or multiracial person a subordinate underneath blackness, right? Pushing them up, moving them up. And a lot of these multiracials, especially if they're SJW, liberal social justice warriors, they find it very virtuous to serve the communita. That's kind of how they make a name for themselves, right? Very virtuous and noble in their eyes. So Phil Advice Show is like obsessed with these Dominicans and now the colored people, right? And but we see the conflict of interest, right? Because he has a mixed kid. And so it's like clockwork. After I finished that stream the other day, and I woke up in the morning, I just, what I do, click on the YouTube app and kind of scroll through the timeline. And because if you play a video and you watch the whole video in its entirety, YouTube, the algorithm, they'll basically send you more clips from that user or something similar, right? And that's what happened. The kind of algorithm clicked in and it sent me a new video that Phil uploaded, which we're going to talk about right now. And I was like, damn, you gotta be kidding me. Like clockwork. I shared it on my community tab on this channel. I was like, I just did a whole live stream about Phil Advice Show pushing this one drop rule, trying to pressure Dominicans to identifying as black, right? For so he can benefit politically. And then like the next day, literally the next morning, he's talking about Tyla. And it's the same discussion, trying to enforce the one drop rule, pressure this young woman to identify with Black America for Phil, Funky Phil, and his followers for their own political interest. And the message I have here for you, you mulattoes and multiracials alike, whatever kind of, classification or title you call yourself, Creole, Blasian, colored, etc., Afro Latino, is that is it a normal and natural existence to be a subordinate? For me, it's not. Like I'll be the bad guy. I'm not serving any of these people. Okay, they have to pay now. Okay, I did all my little, caping and all that shit. Dr. Umar Johnson, all the pro wax stuff. I did my caping. I learned a very valuable lesson dealing with them. But I'm primarily speaking to the younger people. Do you want to make that your entire existence? Chasing the carrot on the stick, right? Or do you want to basically liberate yourself and be everything you can be without the approval of those who will literally never approve of you unless they can step on you and use you, as we can see with Drake. So let's read this statement here. This is from Tyla, as I said about 4 weeks ago. June 3rd, excuse me, guys, June 13th. She puts here, yeah, guys, let me see if I can actually kind of zoom it in for you guys. I think it'll be better. You guys can kind of see that. Oh, that's super zoomed in. There we go. She puts here, yeah, guys, never denied my blackness. I don't know where that came from, right? Because they just want you to just basically, even for biracials or you're mulatto, they just want you to say you're black, right? Because when you say you're mulatto, you're acknowledging that you have African heritage. You're not running away from it. You're basically trying to create balance and say, well, I'm just as European, genetically, heritage, culture wise, as I am African. I'm basically the fusion of the two. I'm my own independent entity, independent from African and European. I'm my own thing. So when I say mulatto, I'm acknowledging that. As other multiracials, if they say they're like Blasian or something, or Hapa individuals who are European and Asian, they're acknowledging both sides. That hence they use the term Hapa. They're proudly Asian as they are proudly European. So mulatto is very similar concept. Same thing when I look at with colored people and what I've examined the past several months. Colored people acknowledging that they're colored, they're basically saying, yeah, they're partially African, partially Dutch, European, and other, in a lot of cases, partially Asian, or what people would call Indian, right? You're just acknowledging yourself fully. But there seems to be one specific demographic who kind of has an issue with that, and it's tied to the one drop rule, and it's the Black American folk. That's why Phil is talking about this stuff, and we're going to talk about it as well because we got the microphone now. So she puts here, she never denied her blackness, right? She says, I'm mixed with Black, Zulu, Irish, Mauritanian, Indian, and colored. Says in South Africa, I'll be classified as a colored woman. In other places, I'll be classified as a Black woman. Race is classified differently in different parts of the world. I don't expect to be identified as colored outside of South Africa by anyone not comfortable doing so because I understand the weight of that word outside of South Africa. But to close this conversation, I'm both colored in South Africa and a Black woman. Now, colored is not offensive. The same people who will tell you the word colored is offensive, they call themselves and everyone else the N word, right? Nobody on the planet looks at the word colored as being offensive because the same people who call themselves the N word, they're going to call themselves people of color, POC. This is common vernacular amongst them in their little leftist, communist, social justice warrior, intersectional feminist circles, pro-whack, Afrocentric, whatever. It's common for them to make it basically synonymous to say a Black woman or a woman of color, right? Because we know, as they often say, Black comes in all shades. You could be light brown, caramel, mocha, coffee, you could be dark skin and all this, right? That's what they tell you. There's different colors, the color spectrum and all this stuff, right? If you're Black. So the word colored is not offensive. It's not. People want to nitpick. It's not the word that they're upset by. And I'm talking about this because as a mulatto, and I use mulatto everywhere, I know this. I've already been through this whole argument with all these people. They're not upset by the word. What they're upset with is that you're not going to identify with them fully. And because of that, they can't use you as their political pawn. That's what they're upset with, right? We kind of get this now. I know my audience, I mean, sometimes I kind of have to say it over and over and drill it in, but you guys kind of get the gif now, right? So, as a woman for the culture, it's an not or with that, right? Being said, Asame, Samabe, I don't know. Yeah, I just want to get over that first, her initial statement, but let's go into this Phil Advice show, what all you guys have been waiting for. Shout out to everyone who's watching. Shout out to the chat. Before I even clicked start live, I saw I had a bunch of likes. My likes were at like 11 likes. I see they're at 14 right now. I got 28 of you watching. I'd like to see some more likes. Okay. If you enjoy the content. Okay. If you like the content, you like the commentary, show your boy what's up. Show me that you actually enjoy this stuff and hit the like button. Let's get this going on. So, yeah, let's get into this right now. So we can see here the clip, and this was what, 4 days ago, right? Like I said, after my Dominican Republic stream, I was talking about similar, topics. This gatekeeping blackness and trying to convince multiracials that they need to submit to blackness and embrace the one drop rule to basically use mulattoes and multiracials as a tool for pro-blacks in America, right? They want people around the world to be tools to Black Americans. It's a very sad strategy, but they're trying it, especially if you're influential. If you're a famous, kind of popular person like a Tyla, and here she is at the BET Awards, right? Best International Act. They gave her an award, right? So they're really sour that she doesn't identify with them, and they're still going to give her an award, right? She's like, no, I'm not Black, I'm colored, and they're still going to give her an award. That's got to be a big L to take, right? It says right here, Tyla needs some Black American friends before her career fizzles out. Before her career fizzles out. Those are very kind of damning words, I might add. Like, who is he to basically state before her career fizzles out? She's a young woman. She's so talented. She's like, what, 22 or 23? and she already has like a number one track. It's like, who the hell is this guy? Phil Advice Show to be like, before her career fizzles out, trying to basically instill fear. That's what they do to the mulattoes. Oh, the police gonna pull you over. You ain't gonna get no reparations. Right? If you don't do what I say you should do, I'm gonna harass you. Right? That's the savagery is what they have to offer you. And this guy is not, going that route because he has a platform. He has something to lose. But a lot of others, your minor characters, they're going to resort to savagery, right? The street level type of individuals. But he's going to use his media platform to basically kind of pressure her to identify, right, as black, or your career is going to fizzle out. If we're going to cut off support from you, then you're going to have to depend on the other 87% of Americans that aren't African descent, right? Something like that. Enough of me talking. Well, I'm going to still be talking, but let's get into a little bit of what they're talking about, right? Fair use.
So the South African artist Tyla, you want to get into the conversation with her because a lot of people are kind of over her a little bit, especially a lot of Black Americans. And Tyla, she's young. She's 22 years old.
He said it very nonchalantly. A lot of people are over her. He said, especially Black Americans. Why is that though? Like she never said anything offensive to Black Americans. Why are they over her? Why are they annoyed? Because they can't punk her and control her. They can't use her and absorb her. Right? Right? They want to be able to absorb her into the Black monolith. That's what he's saying when he's like, oh, a lot of people are over her or annoyed with her. He said, particularly Black Americans. We're like, why? She's never insulted you people. But see, by her not identifying with them, they look at that as an act of treason. Too fucking bad. She's one of many others coming along. That's the thing I find hilarious, where it's like people are annoyed with her. She's an artist, a musician. What she does is she makes music. She's gonna entertain people. That's her job. I just want to understand. It's like, look, and Black people are very creative. One of their main assets and skill sets is their creativity. They make art and music. And it's like, black. I already know for a fact this Phil Advice Show, this propagandist, pro-black, Afrocentric, whatever, he can basically try to, change the narrative and kind of put these viewpoints out there, but it's not going to change the fact that Black people still like good music. She doesn't have to identify with them. If she makes good music, they're still going to rock it. Even all these Drake haters, all these K-Dork fans, like K-Dork is only Kendrick, right? He's only popular because he's talking about Drake, right? And I'm not going to talk about, I'm going to get over Drake on this stream, right? It's about Tyla, but I'm using that as reference because the same Blacks you see on social media talking shit about Drake, they're still going to be listening to his music. We all know what's up. So they'll talk this crap for their little political brownie points to prove that they're a pro-whack and that they not like us. We part of the FBA pro-whack culture, but they're still going to be bumping Drake, right? The same thing with Tyla. They're still going to be listening to this woman. Doesn't matter how annoyed they are. People want good music. This is the fact. People want good music. Her job is making music, and she's super successful doing it.
She's a South African artist that came over to America. She got popular with her song Water. And Tyla kind of stepped in it a little bit when they asked about her identity. Now, in her country of South Africa, um, you have Black people, you have East Indians, you have white people, you have colored people as well as one of the categories. Now, in
You also have Chinese people as well, right? Which, from my understanding, would fall into the Asian category. Somebody correct me, please, if if I misspoke. But you have multiple different ethnic groups there, not just Black, white, but it's that multiracial group, that colored group that people seem to feel like they want to use for their political agenda. See, the Black Americans, the FBAs, the PROACs, they're used to doing that, using the mulattoes as their political tools, or as what Kwame Brown said, a crash test dummy. But you see, in South Africa, they have an entire designation for colored people. They have their own category whereby they can calculate and analyze and observe where they are in society as far as resources, allocation, jobs in the marketplace, how they're performing compared to other groups. They can develop statistics on them. That classification is essential. And so they have their own thing. So this is why this Black American guy, Phil Scott, is talking about this, because he's used to being privileged to basically co-opt and claim and weaponize the one drop rule against multiracial. See, that's why their philosophy is, oh, just get a non-black woman and have a mixed kid, and that kid's gonna be black, poof, magically, right? Because that's his, he's married, he has his partner is a Mexican woman, non-black, non-African woman, and he has a mixed kid. So that's their whole thinking pattern, is they want to bastardize other groups, have mixed kids, and try to weaponize the one drop rule to brainwash their offspring that they're going to be seen as black. Yeah. It's political reasons as well. This is the key thing, political reasons.
Our history in America, the term colored is like a slur. We went through in the Jim Crow South and segregation and all.
That's all debunked. He's talking about our people's history, sharing these little images that you can find on Google with 2 clicks. It's debunked. We already know it's false. Colored is not a slur, not even today. In common nomenclature in academia, all these, LGBT, intersectional feminists, pro-wax, the whole 9 yards. When you analyze their literature, they use the term person or people of color or women of color interchangeably with a black woman. And I already went over this because they say black comes in all shades, right? You could be caramel, mocha, latte, blah, 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 light skin, beige, dark skin. So they use the whole woman of color, person of color interchangeably with black. So, no, the word colored is not offensive. Don't let this guy trick you. What he's saying is offensive is the fact that these individuals don't identify as black. It's the same as far as the word mulatto. They're not offended by the word mulatto. They're offended that you're not going to identify that with them as black, so they can't use you, right? You're cutting off access. This is what they're offended by.
All that. So when Tyla came over here and said, "No, I'm not black, I'm colored," she's immediately thinking, about the identity that she would have in South Africa. But in this country, it's offensive to say you're colored, and most
We know that's BS. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to pause a few times, guys. I know some people have an issue with it. It's BS. It's not offensive to call yourself colored in this nation. I already told you, I'm academically trained, not the smartest guy. Never said I was. I'm just a guy with some balls blabbing my mouth. And that the word colored is synonymous and interchangeable with a black person or a person of African descent. But they also include, see, the word person of color is also actually synonymous with minority. We can say that, which black kind of falls into that because they are a minority. And so, like, but they include Arabic people in many cases, even though a lot of them are classified as Caucasian. But the person of color, they include Asian people, specifically if they're from like the islands, Polynesian or Philippines, and then Latinos, right? Literally person of color. So it's like this skin color, kind of the color, the pigment of your skin and crap. That's kind of the argument they make to form this kind of fake fabricated coalition that really doesn't stand on anything, right? But they use the term colored, women of color. It's usually with women. It doesn't really work that way with men or men of color because men are ultra competitive. Men are out here fighting in wars, and all this stuff, right? Men are just trying to make it out here. So I typically see it within the in the nomenclature and literature of the kind of female academics and feminist and intersectional feminists. They typically use that whole women of color argument. And that's because they want to get some allies, right? The black feminists and lesbians and stuff like that. They want to get these other groups of women like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and these other politicians. They want the Latinos, they want to get them on board to help their political situation out. So colored is used every day in American society. Don't take my word for it. Do your research, examine literature, even in the political discussions in academia, in these universities. Listen to what these people talk about. They always talk about the represented communities and the communities of color. They always say this crap. Communities of color, underrepresented minorities. The word colored is synonymous with minority in this nation, United States. It's not an offensive word. Phil Scott is trying to pretend and trick his audience to say it's an offensive word, because what they're offended by, these Afrocentrics, is that the multiracials, mulattoes, etc., they're not going to identify with the Black American plight, which is, basically white acceptance. We all kind of get that now, right? If you're mulatto, you're half white. Like, what the hell are you fighting for? Like, you're good already. It's on them. If they need something from you, they got to pay now, right? It's just, fair trade business now, right? So fair use.
Black people will say in America, well, no, you just black because I got people in my family that look like you. Or the people that's called colored in South Africa, you will see people in America who are part of the black community look just like them. Like, especially you want to see a lot of them, go to Cape Town, South Africa.
That's kind of not really the argument is not going to stand on anything. Okay, just because they share the phenotype, they look like you. Yeah, you can make that case, but all over Africa, you have different tribes. You have people that are like Ghanaian or Nigerian or whatever, Kenya. You could make the argument, oh yeah, they kind of look like, there's Black Americans that kind of look like this person. They got the same skin tone and hair texture and all this crap, but they don't identify as a Black American. They have their whole culture and identity. See, that's what a lot of these kind of elitist Afrocentrics like Funky Phil, they don't understand that the rest of the world doesn't operate within the same paradigm that he does, with this weaponization of the one drop rule. And oh well, you kind of you look like us, so in America you got to identify as us. It doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. Other nations, other peoples, even if they might look like you, they identify with something independent, and they also have their own languages as well, their own language groups, because it's the same with even white Americans. Just because someone's speaking English, they're white American born and raised, they might look the same, blue eyes, blonde hair, etc., but they're going to be talking to someone who's like Russian or something like that, or I don't know, name, you pick a country, Croatia, whatever. They have maybe the same phenotype, but they don't speak the same language. Their culture is different. Those nuances are there, right? But the Afrocentrics, like Phil Advice Show, they want to basically blur the lines and muddy the waters and basically try to make this claim that we're all just black. We're all, you got African descent. So, let us use you, right? Let us use you for our own political benefit. This is what I'm hearing. I don't know. You guys tell me otherwise.
You will see a lot. So Tyler went on the Breakfast Club with Charlemagne the God, and they had some questions that she did not want answered. And so Charlemagne did what
They ask, you see how he tries to be all sneaky? They ask some questions that Tyla did not. It was one question. It's about her colored identity. She doesn't want to talk to you people about it. Charlatan the fraud, who's we already went over, he's anti-biracial, okay, cracking jokes. She doesn't want to talk to you people about how she identifies. She doesn't identify as a Black American woman. Get over it. Okay.
Charlemagne do. Charlemagne gonna press the envelope and asked about the colored conversation. She decided not to answer at the time. She turned away, looked at her public relations, and they answered for her. But that just made it worse. So everybody just kind of went in.
That just made it worse. Made it worse for who? She doesn't identify with you people and she's tired of commenting on it. I don't understand, like, what else is there to say? Because the Black people in South Africa respect her and acknowledge her as being colored. She is a colored representative internationally, and she's very proud of that. And it's only these Black Americans who want to take that from her and try to humble her and bully her. She has nothing to say to you guys. She doesn't care. But here Phil Advice Show is, who's a spokesperson for the Communita Black America, even though his partner is a Mexican woman, right? Has a mixed kid, very typical, right?
So now you have some South Africans are like, "Hey man, just leave her alone. Why y'all so obsessed with, her identity? Hey, she's colored. That's what she comes
Yeah, he said some South Africans. Yeah, a lot of them have. I've examined social media. Like I shared with you guys on the other stream that I talked about Tyla. It was a Black South African woman on X, and she posted the whole like South African job application. She was trying to show the people on X, like, look, they have their own box to check. They have their own classification. Leave them the hell alone. So a lot of Black South Africans are basically taking Tyla's side in this whole discussion. There's, like I'm saying, I'm framing this whole discussion It's one specific demographic who has an issue because they can't use her. They can't weaponize the one drop rule to bully and to humble this woman. This is why the name of the title of his stream is Tyla Needs Some Black American Friends Before Her Career Fizzles Out. And the name of my stream is Black American Identity Policing Tyla, right? So I'm sticking up for this woman and for other colored people because this conversation's international now. We cannot continue to play this game where people want to weaponize the one drop rule for their own political interest. You need to make sure you get something out of the deal when you deal with them. They want you to identify with them. Okay, that's fine. They need to give you something in return. Period. End of discussion. That's my whole job here to tell these other people, make sure you get something out of the deal. Quid pro quo. Make sure it's reciprocal. There's some reciprocity attached to this relationship. Far too long they've been able to get away with weaponizing a one drop rule to benefit them. Okay, they need to basically pay you now if they want something like that.
from. That's what she is. It's her own culture. Americans just need to understand there's more than one culture except theirs. And so, Black Americans are saying, hey, well, you saying you colored mean you want to other yourself. And she's coming into America during a time of a delineation movement. Now, the delineation movement a lot of Black Americans are having is just kind of worried about Black Americans. They're not worried about nobody else because when other groups have came.
Worry about Black Americans, don't worry about everybody else. And it's kind of an interesting situation because Phil Advice Show was part of that. He has several channels. I think this channel here he's on, it's called the Phillip Scott Show. He's got a big, large audience. He's got 500,000, we can just say that, 427,000 subscribers. He has the Africa Dysphoria Network, which is his Pan-African, channel, which he has like a couple million or a few million. That's the one he did the video on the Dominican people. And he has another channel called like the Black Congregation or something like that, Black Delegation, which is his Black American Christian. He has multiple channels and he's basically a professional YouTuber, right? Professional YouTuber. He's been doing this for a long time, like over a decade, right? And my goal is not to be like this guy. Let me make that clear. Okay, I'm not a full-time YouTuber. This is some shit I jump up here and do for fun because I want to talk to you people, inform you people, and also learn. You guys share a lot with me, and I really appreciate you guys. The community that we have developed here, this mulatto community, and so yeah, he has multiple channels, but like I'm saying, he has the Africa Dysphoria Network, which is his Pan African niche, his pitch to the global Black family, even though he's married to a non-Black woman. But then he's doing this pro like FBA ADOS thing as well. The delineation is what he said. So he's trying to play both sides. And it's funny, I don't really see that many Black people calling him out. This whole delineation thing where it's like, oh, you're FBA, you from the soil, you're FBA. But at the same time, he has the Africa dysphoria, like the Pan-African. At the same time, he's married to a non-FBA woman. So we're like, come on, make it up. Make your minds up, guys. Okay, make your minds up. What the hell's going on here? And you want to throw Tyla into the mix, pun intended. And I'm looking at it like I'm gonna advocate for Tyla and for other mulattoes, multiracials, Dominicans, etc. That's what we're gonna have to do to continue to grow this conversation. It's already grown, right? That's why a lot of people hate. They don't like me. They don't like. They can make all the ad hominem attacks and all this crap, but it's politically. They don't like me politically. What I stand for, right? So they'll just throw the kind of ad hominems and all the other stuff out there. But politically, they know I'm a pariah because I'm upsetting the apple cart, right? And they can never challenge me politically on these arguments. So they got to go to some other crap, right? Some other stuff, right? Because I didn't put hot sauce on my chicken, right, guys? Right.
Over here to immigrate to America, they kind of separate themselves from Black Americans. So they constantly put themselves in their own communities because where they come from, they delineate, right? So Tyler doing that kind of put her in the crosshairs of all of that. At the same time, Tyler and the management she has made grave mistakes. This is the thing. I'll travel to different countries. I'm not going to travel to a country.
He's saying Tyla and her management's making a mistake. I'm just pausing it, guys, like I said, because of the copyright stuff. But what I'm gonna say is like he's gonna make the argument, oh, Tyla's management should have told her to kiss black Americans' butt to be in good standing with them to get them as a market. But it's like you guys are like 12% of the population. And over the next decade, coming years, that number, it's not going to still continue to be 12. It's going to be lower than that because you guys are divesting, you guys are passport bros. And even in your community, mixed people, once they find my channel, they probably identified as black their whole life. They're like, oh shit, this guy's talking my language. There's a lady, a young lady, I mean, the term MGM is out there, and she's DM me and she asked me a couple times, like, what would I consider her, or whatever. It's like, look, I'm not in a position to label you or what you identify as, and because she's not biracial, but she acknowledges both of her parents are mixed. Now, I didn't tell her the MGM term because I don't, it's too vague, and they allow that people to use that term that are just black and identify as black their whole life to use that and to co-opt your entire discussion, especially I'm talking about the mulattoes here, right? But like I said, with that lady, she's a young lady, younger than me, who messaged me. She's like a supporter, basically. And I'd never tell people what they should identify as, but there's going to be more people like her that are younger and even older that for the longest time they just kind of thought they were black. They knew something was up. They knew all the little light skin jokes and all the little like people trying to outgroup them and shit. They knew it wasn't normal, right? But then they kind of watch my channel, they see me on social media, all my platforms, and they realize, oh crap, what he's saying is true. Like they are something other than this quote unquote black American consciousness. They're an entirely different entity, this multiracial category that is growing. You can say whatever you want. You can hate the messenger, which is very common throughout history. They hate the messenger, but the consciousness is still growing regardless. Let's continue this.
and not get with the people, especially I'm trying to work with, right? So Tyler is trying to get in good with the Black American community. The first thing she should have did is got with Black Americans and start working with them, learning the Black American culture.
The first thing she should have done is get good with black Americans, learning from them, get acquainted with the culture. I think she's already acquainted with the culture. I think she already knows the history. A lot of people already know the history. Okay, everybody else has access to the internet. Remember, she's a young woman. Like she's like a Z, I think, 23 years old or whatever. So like she basically grew up on the internet. Like and not only that, they know your culture, bro. We all see world star hip hop. There was a video I just saw of some degenerate savage who was in a dollar store and he nutted on some woman's leg and it was like looked like a non-black woman. She was probably, I don't know, maybe Latina or something. Okay, they caught the guy. I think Meek Mill like submitted like 2 grand or something like that to try to get information on the guy. They end up finding the guy. He who was in a dollar store and literally relieved himself on some woman and just walked out of there, right? Of the store. And we all see your culture. Like we all have access to the internet. We all you know, like I don't understand. This guy's telling her like Tyla should have basically learned the culture. What she's gonna go to like take an Africana studies class or course or something. We know your culture. We see Kendrick Lamar. Okay. Like we know your culture. We know where the values lay at, where you worship everything that's not black. Okay, you dream of getting a partner that's not, especially the males, dream of getting a partner that's not black. Like we know your culture already. So don't play this whole, foolishness denial about how Tyla's just not educated. She needs to learn the culture to be good. No, she doesn't. She's good. She's doing what she's doing and she's gonna grow.
Just learning because you coming into a different country that's not South Africa. And
I want to share this as well. Um, And Val puts here, did you see the black woman who shot a church chicken employee a few days ago? Yes, I did. And that's what I'm saying. Like, we already know what black culture is in America. And now I'm not gonna people could say, oh, you're being mean, you're using that as representation, right? Oh, what happened? I think I'm still on. Let me see.
so you need to
Yeah, I'm still on. Some little glitch happened. People can say basically that oh, that's like a false representation. I'm not saying, oh, I'm not an elitist, but like we all have access to the internet. That's the argument I'm making. We don't need to get textbooks to read about shit that happened in 1960 of the civil rights and all this stuff. We have access right now to real life data and information of what's going on in Black America. In real time. We have real stories and scenarios. Look what she puts here. Yeah, did you see that Black woman who shot a church chicken employee a few days ago over some fucking chicken? She deleted somebody, a Black woman, over some fucking chicken. Yeah, I did see that story. And I gave another example of this Black male who was in like a dollar store, and he like, relieved himself on a woman and just like ran out the store, and the woman had her camera and recorded it. I'm like, we have access to this footage that we already kind of see and know what the culture is, what it represents today. When we look at Kendrick Lamar and the other racists attacking biracials, we already have access to that information. We don't need to take an Africanus study course to talk about slavery and redlining. I had some guy jump on my panel the other day, talk about redline. We know all this stuff. You guys, okay, we get it. Let's see what shout out to Renata Mulatto puts, no, he ran like a little bee out the store because he was brave then, but not once confronted. Yeah. I actually saw a recent development. He was actually caught. I could possibly share it with you guys. Let me just finish this right now. Yeah, fair use.
Get with them just to learn to say, hey, what can you say, what you can't say, is etc. Some people say she shouldn't have to do that. Yes, she should. Just like if when I go to South Africa, I ask questions because I don't want to be offensive in South Africa.
It's funny how this guy's trying to enforce his beliefs. He's like, yes, she should. No, she shouldn't. And he's lying, trying to say when he was in South Africa, he's gonna have to ask to not be offensive. But I actually have South African colored audience members here and supporters on the channel. And they literally told me, I didn't see the video footage, but they told me they watched clips of Phil Advice Show trying to pressure people and one drop people in South Africa to identify as Black. That's because they're pushing their Afrocentric agenda. You know this guy is going to be supporting what's the guy's name? Malema, Julius Malema. These hardcore like pro-Black types, militants, right? See, yeah, he's going to go to South Africa and try to weaponize the one drop rule, right? To try to force and pressure people to identify with the Black plight. So he's out of bounds doing that. So he'll do that as an American. He'll go to another country, force his beliefs on them. But then when Tyla comes to America, he wants her to submit to him. It doesn't work that way, homie. And with this internet, this beautiful tool, we all see that. It doesn't work that way. No.
I've been to South Africa at least 3 times already and can't wait to go back again. And I make sure to get with South Africans. I have South Africans on my team now. I talk to South Africans all the time. I ask them questions. Hey, what do y'all think about this? What do you think about that? Hey,
The funny thing is, homie, is I got South Africans on my team as well. That's the beautiful thing about this. I got some of them on my team as well. And yeah, we exchange information. We share and compare notes. And yeah, and I'm here to tell you, Phil, you're full of it. You're full of it.
with your culture. I ask
We see the agenda. We see the weaponization of the one drop rule, using multiracials as a political tool for pro blackness, denying colored people, Dominican people, and American mulattoes, okay, their birthright. We see what it is. I'm just one voice, but there is going to be more.
all kind of questions because I'm not trying to be offensive to somebody else's culture, especially when I'm in their homeland and I'm not in the United States of America. So when you go to whatever country you go to, you got to
The thing is, a lot of Americans are extremely arrogant, and people could say that about me too. That's fine. But oftentimes we try to kind of force our worldview, or our view, kind of American centered view, on the rest of the world. Americans are notoriously known to do that. Wherever they go, they want to kind of Americanize any environment they travel to. That's a negative, bad reputation that we have as a collective, as Americans. right? We kind of know it's common, so it's something we can all kind of, basically work on. I know I am. Shit, I'm working on it.
Follow the culture that's already there. Now, what Tyler is not realizing, and she's young, that's why I kind of give her a pass a little bit. It's because her management knows
He gives her a pass. You're not giving her nothing. you know, I love how he tries to frame the discussion as if he's an authority, like the black authority, the black authorita, as if he's in a position like, oh, I'm gonna kind of giving her a pass because she's young. You don't run nothing. You're using the white man's app to make all your money. You take all the money that black people give you and spend it on your non-black wife. Like, you're not in a position to call any shots or to try to act like you have this authority over Tyla. You don't. Okay, this young woman Tyla has the whole world basically at the palm of her hands. She has endless opportunities. I think it's hilarious how they try to put this guy, particularly how he tries to position it as if like he has some authority over her. Like, I kind of gave her, a pass, and I'm not going to go too hard on her. You're not going to do anything except cry and complain because she doesn't identify as black. Tough, too bad.
good and well what they're doing. They're trying to use Tyler with the color thing, like a take a jab at Black America, but make an inside joke at the same time. Because to her, this is my identity, but they know what they're doing.
Just want to check this comment. Shout out to you. Appreciate the comment. Very interesting. You put here, I feel biracial Americans relate to other groups on a more horizontal basis. Phil and his pals take a more hierarchical stance, giving orders without nothing to back them up. I know when it all falls, it all crumbles down. Once you acknowledge that it stands on nothing, they resort to savagery in exposés. They have nothing. There's no structure attached to that. It's all tribalism when you really analyze it. But when you point out the fact that you really have nothing to bargain with here, buddy, you have no real tools to bargain here with. So then it's like, oh, well, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get other people to get you. So then they resort to savagery. See, and the thing is, in the long term, it doesn't work out for them because then it's history now. Now you look at it, okay, this is a track record of their behavior. This is what they do. The whole world can see this is how they operate. When they don't get their way, this is the type of behavior they result to, savagery. And we all have that. We all have examples of that now in real time. But that hierarchical structure, exactly, this nothing's backing it up. It's pseudoscience, pseudo history, hogwash, and just weaponizing the one drop rule for their own political benefit, which is pro dark skin and positioning mulattoes and multiracials or lighter skinned people, all include them as well, as a subordinate class underneath them to serve as political pawns for their agenda. We all, I mean, the people over here, they get it, they see it. Okay. But other places, they might not.
And I've been told by people on my team that Tyler has white management. Tyler even has a white boyfriend.
It's funny how he threw that in there. I definitely wanted to pause and talk about this. He said Tyla has a white management. Okay, well, a lot of these blacks have white managers. A lot of these black uh, boxers, these black entertainers, black, movie stars, they have white managers. So fucking what? They're still popular amongst black people and other people. You see that? How they always try to play this game? Well, they got a white manager. You guys want to bet your bottom dollar? Phil Advice Show has a white accountant, a white attorney. You want to bet your bottom dollar? Phil Advice Show has a white plumber, right? That helps he hires white people. He has white people on his team. You want to bet your he's married to a Mexican woman. He's not married to a black woman. So you honestly think he's going to employ nothing but blacks? No. So that argument's so flawed about, oh, well, she's got a white manager. So fucking what? So a lot of you people. The funny thing is he mentioned that she has a white boyfriend. This is where it gets in. I told you, they always target the women. Just like he targeted that Dominican woman I talked about a few days ago. He was targeting that Dominican Afro-Latina woman who doesn't identify as a black American. She identifies as Dominican. And I mentioned in that stream, They always target the women. They know what the men, it's like, it's just give it up, bro. I don't identify with you. I'm not, just give it up. You got to pay me something. Okay. There's no freebies. Nobody's going to kiss your butt. Not me. You got to pay me something. So they always target these women. And then, like I said, with like he's doing right now with Tyla, this colored woman, he's targeting her, trying to harass her and pressure her. I guess harass is kind of a more extreme word. I'm not going to say that. I'll say pressure. Okay, let me rephrase. I'm going to say pressure her to identify as black using scare tactics, I might add. But he's talking about her boyfriend. Who gives a damn who she's with? When I did the Tyla stream, there was some guy up in here, who was basically kept putting comments about Tyla. She's with this Gunna guy. And I was like, bro, I don't care who she's with, man. She's a young woman trying to make it out here. She's trying to rise above the top. She's trying to be the best she can. That's not my business. Why does he care, though? Why does Phil Advice Show care? The fact that she has a white boyfriend. Who gives a fuck? Doesn't Zendaya, isn't she married to Tom Holland? Holly Berry? And she has a white partner? Who gives a fuck? That's her business who her partner is. Why does this guy care so much? He's got a Mexican partner. That makes it even more hypocritical. See, the fact that he mentioned this, it should, basically raise kind of, the hairs and eyebrows of people who are supporters of him to think and question the kind of, legitimacy of this guy. We are like, how the hell are you talking about who's dating who? That Tyla's with the white person or white guy. That's none of your damn business. Why don't we talk about why the fuck you are so pro black, okay, Mr. Funky Phil Zucchini Nose, but you're married to a non black woman, a Mexican woman? Why don't we talk about that? They don't want to have that discussion. They don't want to have that discussion. The hypocrisy is out of this world. And I wanted to point that out because it's definitely gendered. They're fixated on the women. They want to make sure that she gets a black partner. So all her talents and money, she gets absorbed into the black monolith. And if she has kids, the kids are going to be mostly black. And that's their goal, right? Is to absorb you, to use you and to absorb you. This is what you see here. Who she's dating, her partner, that's nobody's damn business. Okay. But Phil cares so much that she has a white boyfriend. Phil Advice Show. You have a Mexican wife, a non-black wife. Bro, shut up. Okay, let's continue on.
And so clearly she's not surrounded by black Americans like that. That's what I'm getting at. She's not getting the right counsel. And what's going to end up happening if she don't get the right counsel, or at least get around black Americans enough to learn the culture, learn America how it is.
Get around black Americans enough, learn the culture, learn how it is. Basically get humbled and punked by them. Become a minority amongst them, right? When you can have your own group where you're the majority amongst your own group. Why do you want to be a minority within another minority so they can use you? Look at her. She has an award right here, BET. You know he's mad because she's still getting a Black Entertainment Award, 2024, so this year. Very accomplished woman. You know he's pressed on that. You need to get around Black American, learn the culture. We already know the culture, bro. We saw a video of some, lady, black lady who shot somebody because her chicken wasn't warm enough or something. Like, we have access to the internet like everyone else. Like, we already know the culture today, bro. What the hell? Who you fooling me? Like, we'll learn what? Redlining, the Ku Klux Klan, the Tulsa, Oklahoma. We all know this stuff. We know the history. You were kings and queens, but look at you now. Look what's going on now. You're so proud of yourself. You're so proud to be black. You cannot commit to a black woman. We see you, Phil. You're so proud to be black. You're so pro-black, but you cannot commit to a black woman and have a black family. The whole world sees you now, right?
Is she's gonna fizzle out, because if they can't make you popular with black America, and I know they're trying, then that's it. Because in order for them to market you to the Taylor Swift crowd, you got to go through black America. But the fact is, she's still too.
You got to go through Black America, he said, to market her towards the Taylor Swift crowd or Ariana Grande or other successful artists. There's literally hundreds of, if not thousands of artists who are white. Whites are the majority in America, and you have Hispanics who are largely growing population. Shakira, Jennifer Lopez, these artists, they don't need blacks. I've done security at a bunch of these different arenas and done different shows. A lot of these shows, you don't have any blacks in these damn concert venues. And these artists, they fill up the stadium, a bunch, a bunch of fans, supporters, and the blacks are the minority. If there are blacks there, it's like a couple of them in these country, music concerts and stuff like that. So it's like you have all these artists across America. They don't need blacks. It's this false kind of reality they try to tell the multiracial person or the person with African descent is that, oh, you need to be amongst us and let us be the guardians and gatekeepers of blackness. Let us punk you and use you for our benefit, right? You have to come to us. We're looking, even Tyla, and I'm looking at it like, bro, you can go elsewhere, cut deals elsewhere. You can deal with other people elsewhere. If they're not offering you anything, what the hell are you even dealing with them for? It doesn't make any sense. I don't get it.
In order for them to market you to the Taylor Swift crowd, you got to go through Black America. But the fact is, she's still too black to be marketed to the Taylor Swift crowd.
I wanted to say something about that too, because his self hatred is showing when he says, well, you're too black to be marketed to the Taylor Swift crowd. So he's telling you what he really feels about his blackness and his bell peppered zucchini nose, right? And his dark skin. He's showing you what he really feels about himself. And it's obviously exemplified in the example where his partner is not even a black woman, right? A woman that doesn't share his phenotype. He's got a whole Mexican woman, right? Is his partner. So we get it. You don't like yourself. But then he's trying to spread his self-hate onto Tyla, saying that, oh, you're too black. You can't get the Taylor Swift crowd. You see that? It's like wearing his blackness like a scar, basically. Like only someone who doesn't like themselves would make that type of statement. Like, she's a talented woman. Tyla has African descent. I shared the image. I'll share it again before I go finish off the video of her. No, I think we might be. Oh, we're back, guys. The show must go on. Just a minor glitch. I apologize. Some technical difficulties. What I got going on here. Let me see. Sometimes when I have too many tabs opened up, it kind of it flips out. Apologizing about that, guys. So let me bring this back up. Yeah, I lost my train of thought. What I was saying as well, where it's like, you look at this woman here. Look at her father, right? Proudly, her father's smiling, but her mom's not really smiling. That's one thing to notice. Her father is so proud of her. He clearly looks East Indian, right? And yeah, like you look at her, like she's proud. I apologize, guys. A little minor technical difficulty kind of screwed me up. I forgot where I was at with this whole point. I wanted to shift into that image to share something, but nevertheless, the show must go on. So let me go back to where I was on that clip. So yeah, yeah, because let me check out some of your guys' comments right here. What we got here. Yeah, you put it's another form of crabs in a barrel. Yeah. And that self-hatred, like I said, because he made the comment about, oh, well, you're too black. You're too black to where it's like they can't market you to this Taylor Swift crowd. It's like only someone who doesn't like themselves would make that comment. And then you put here, let's see, we got says it's just awful when they go crazy when white women buy something from a black business because it's for them, which means those black business owners make less money. Phil deleted the video of his wife's DNA results after backlash. Even other hoteps went in on him for being a hypocrite. Yeah, it's very sad. It's very sad. I just don't get it. How I don't really see that many people calling it out. It's very sad. I don't. Phil's wife isn't even a typical Mexican. She's honestly an outlier, not mestiza. Yeah, she's mostly Spanish, right? But I think when I saw the video that he released. This was a couple years ago, right? And he shared the DNA results, and the woman had like less than like 10% like indigenous ancestry. She was mostly Spanish European. There's a lot of Mexican people who have that heritage. They are mostly Spanish European heritage, and with that Spanish heritage, they might have some kind of Arabic roots in there, right? Because Spain was kind of occupied for several years, right? But yeah, but they pull onto that indigenous. They really have to like jump onto that indigenous part. They feel like that connects them to blackness. But the thing is, Phil Show's wife has zero African ancestry, if that. If she has any African ancestry, it's through her Spanish European bloodline when Spain was, kind of occupied by Moors and Berbers and etc. Right? So she's probably got like 1% African. Give me a break, man. But this guy's so pro-black, like so pro-black. We got introverted smiles, who's actually a Cape colored gentleman, South African colored. So it puts here mixes and colors differ depending where they are. My DNA test results said Southern African, Central African, English, Dutch, French, and I can't pronounce that. Huguenot, East Indian, and West Asian. Interesting. Yeah, very interesting. You got here, black people try to gatekeep the black community. They wish they own something, anything. Yeah, they don't own anything. What they want is ownership over mixed people. And because when mixed people question and challenge that they really have no structure that's respectable, then they resort to savagery, to attacks and exposés. This is really what they have to offer when they realize you're not somebody out here. You got to either pay me or offer me something. Because if not, you make no rules out here. Then they're going to show you their savagery. Like, let me attack this guy. He's not, he's not bowing down to the communitaw. So that comes from a place of powerlessness. They own nothing, right? They have nothing to offer. I remember Phil tried to literally one drop his own wife and defend his hypocrisy. Yeah, you posting the DNA results, right? So yeah, I went back in the comments and you put it here. What I kind of said, her DNA test, and she was 3/4 Spanish, near 20% indigenous, and only 5% sub-Saharan African. Exactly. Yeah, I just went more up into the comments and saw this. Tamisha, Clyde, and yeah, you're absolutely right. Like that's in that sub-Saharan African, she's got 5%. That comes through her Spanish lineage. I guarantee it. When she's like what 20% indigenous, if that. And I'm not going to talk about the man's wife, that like that. I'm just using that as an example to where this full advice show, he can't say shit about how any mixed person identifies when this guy's literally married to a non-black woman having mixed kids. So we see the political agenda, and which is typical with pro-blacks. Like they don't own anything, so they feel like they can own mixed people and police our speech and what we say. It will never work. Black people gatekeep things like words. Yeah, words like nigga, right? Drake, you can't say nigga no more, and Drake's gonna make money saying nigga every opportunity he gets, right? And bonnets. Yeah, they want to clown white women for wearing bonnets, right? But they all love and worship white women. That's the dichotomy that is really foolish. I don't get it. Imagine if whites gatekept the internet. Yeah, because whites developed the internet. They're all using the white man's app to talk shit about the whites. Fuck out of here. Let me get back to this video and finish this off. I don't want my computer to start tripping again. Let's go.
Breakfast Club. She did go to her Instagram. In order for them to market you to the Taylor Swift crowd, you got to go through Black America. But the fact is, she's still too black to be marketed to the Taylor Swift.
And I pause it there when I try to switch it up. And I'm gonna continue to play it on, guys. I apologize. I know you guys don't like when I stop. But the thing is, it's like when I first saw this, I was like, this guy has some self-hate. Oh, she's too black to market it to the Taylor Swift crowd. And then like I shared this image. This is where I left off before I got kind of interrupted technical difficulties. Her mom looks mixed. None of these people in this image are the same complexion as this guy here with the zucchini nose, right? Phil Advice Show. She has a whole like East Indian father. He might be mixed. I don't know exactly. And her mother's clearly mixed. These are South Africans. She identifies as colored. And I don't know if the colored lineage is maybe through her father or her mother or maybe both. I do not know. But none of these people have the same phenotype as this guy, Phil. But he's so pressed on how she identifies. Why is that? Well, because he has a Mexican partner and a mixed kid, and they want to weaponize their mixed offspring to identifying as black, to being pro-black, right? They want the mixed people to serve blacks, and so that's why they're fixated on Tyla, right? And I'm looking at it, her mom, like she clearly looks mixed, right? And her father. So it's like, and he's trying to say, oh, she's too black. Really? Does she look? She looks more so like her father. I mean, she does look like the blend between both parents for sure, but you can see the Indian gene is strong in her. You can see it in her. Yeah, she's mixed. What do you mean she's too black? See, that's his Americanism speaking. The proud victim, proud slave. Oh, them white folks, they ain't gonna like you. Well, depending on who you talk to. A lot of blacks are not gonna like her, right? You not like us. You not an FBA. You ain't from the hood, from the culture, right? So it depends who you talk to if someone's gonna like you or not. But I'm looking at her like he wears his blackness like a scar. Like, oh, you're too black. They're not gonna like you. Bro, you're black as fuck, Phil. She's nowhere near as black as you. What the hell are you talking about? Because see, they'll try to say that shit to me too. To all of us, basically. Oh man, you're too black. They're not gonna like you. I'm like, bro, we ain't the same, homie. I'm not like you. We don't look the same. And I'm looking at this image. I'm like, none of these people here, Tyla or her parents, they look nothing like you, bro. You're tripping, man. I mean, give me a break, guys. Am I being too mean? Am I hurting some feelings? Calling out the obvious, right? Let's finish this off.
Swift crowd or the Ariana Grande crowd. They just call it what it is. They not gonna want to see her. They may like some of her music, but and then the thing is, Tyla is a new artist. She doesn't have even a big catalog yet to have all this ruckus going on. Now after the
Have all this ruckus going on. There is no ruckus. It's you're just an uppity Negro who wants to punk a mixed person. Let's call a spade a spade. There is no ruckus. This is a young, beautiful, talented, elegant woman, Tyla. She has the dance moves. She's in super good shape. The way she shakes her hips, she has a nice, like, South African dance, her songs. Like, there is no ruckus. The only ruckus is from Charlatan the Fraud, who got punked by the Democrats, Joe Biden, and you, Phil. Like, you know, like the only people the ruckus is because black Americans, okay? I'm not saying all, but the ones who have an issue with Tyla, these black Americans, they hate themselves. So they want a mixed person to punk so they can feel better about themselves. That's all it is. We all see what it is. Okay.
Breakfast Club, she did go to her Instagram and left a statement. But it would have been better if Tyla, that
This statement was on her ex. It's on her ex account.
same statement she used, would have said that to Charlemagne back on the
You see that? He's trying to tone police. That's what they do. They want to claim ownership over you. Trying to tone police and say, oh, you should have said it this way. You should have placated to my, low self esteem, sensitive, negroid feelings. You should have said it like this. You should have told Charlemagne this. She didn't have to tell Charlemagne shit. I love the fact that she ignored him. She looked to her publicist, and her publicist told her no comment. And she's like, no comment. I love that. She's like, I don't have to respond to you people. She doesn't respond to you people. You have no ownership or leadership. See, this is what Phil Show is trying to do. He's trying to position this colored woman to say, oh, you have to come to black Americans. You got to talk to us the way we tell you to talk to us. You got to respond to us. We're like, what the fuck? You don't make the rules out here. Not in South Africa, not even in America. That's the funny part. You don't make the rules in America. When you don't get your way, you result to savagery. We all see it. Okay. And the thing is less and less people are unafraid and they're unapologetic about it now. You're going to call people a racist. You're going to call people an incel. You're going to call people a bigot or whatever, a white supremacist, whatever term. More and more people are laughing now. It's like, okay, and what? What the fuck are you going to do about it? You're going to cry to white people to try, You're gonna cry to white people about this white supremacist over there. Oh, okay, yeah. Let's see how well that works, right?
Breakfast Club. Saying that Tyla didn't need to be on the Breakfast Club, yes, she did. Tyla did need to be on the Breakfast Club. So
No, they didn't because Hillary Clinton was on the Breakfast Club and she still didn't get elected. Bernie Sanders was on the Breakfast Club. He didn't get elected. Cut the bullshit, Phil. The Breakfast Club, they're a bunch of Democratic shills, entertainment flunkies, okay? All they bring on new artists. It's a black American. I already talked about this the other stream. The whole Breakfast Club was charlatan. They're a bunch of shills, and she doesn't need that to be on them. It can help her publicity, sure. I didn't hear about this woman because of the Breakfast Club. When I first heard about Tyla, it was because of the song Water. And then there was something that happened about some controversy because some interview somewhere, it wasn't a Breakfast Club. It was somewhere else. They had some interview and she said she's identifies as colored, not black American. And that made like major news. Not just the song that she sang, but because it was some other publication. I don't know, but it wasn't Breakfast Club. I'm pretty certain. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. But no, she doesn't need Breakfast Club. Yeah, all these damn politicians go to Breakfast. Even Dr. Umar, they just had Dr. Umar on the Breakfast Club like a week ago, and this guy is still scamming all these people, asking for donations. Doesn't have a damn school. You know, it's like, dude, who the fuck needs to be on the Breakfast Club, man? Come on, guys. Like Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. You guys got a track record of like straight up losers up there that aren't winners. Like nobody needs you. See, it's this falsehood they're pushing that, oh, you need them. They can offer you, jump on their media platform. See, but they want to humble this woman. That's what Charlemagne did. She was on there to talk about, Tyla's on there to talk about her music. And then Charlemagne, who's a pro-black shill, tried to pressure her. Well, what's up with this colored stuff? Why don't you just say you're black American? Why do you identify as colored? And she's like, no comment. I don't owe none of you people an explanation. End of discussion. Move on. Nah, so shout out to Tyla, man. I love how she's standing firm in this. It's beautiful. It's going to inspire a lot of Americans. A lot of these young Americans, mulattoes or multiracials, whatnot, Blasian, and even the colored people in South, she's going to inspire a lot of people. A young woman who's standing 10 toes down. I love it. I love this.
so she could be seen as a new artist and be heard. That's one of the biggest platforms to go on, at least today. As a
One of the biggest platforms. She doesn't need you guys. You guys need her. That's the whole point I'm trying to tell my audience as well. You guys got to find some other avenues out here and tap into that. They need you more than you need them. Period. And Tyla is going to eventually, she's getting her wake up call right now. She's looking at the backlash. It's like she'll figure it out.
right now. So no, she was needed to go on the Breakfast Club, but she kind of bombed it with that question. That's just kind
She bombed it. You guys hear that? He said she bombed it because she didn't submit to pro blacks and their standards. Well, how come you don't identify with black Americans, right? You got DJ Envy over there who looks whiter than me and he's identifies as a black American, right? So, I mean, so they got him, a guy like that cucked, but they're looking at you like, why don't you identify with, right? This is what it is, guys. This is what it is. See, Phil Show saying she bombed it because she didn't submit to charlatan the fraud and the pro-black agenda. So according to Phil Show, she bombed it. No, she did excellent. She's more popular now than ever before because any publicity is good publicity. If they're talking about you, they can try to slander you, defame you. Look what they've done with Donald Trump. The guy they said is like a felon or something, Donald Trump. They tried to lock, all these trumped up charges, pun intended, trumped up charges. Donald Trump's a racist and all this shit. The guy is going to run for office. So they're going to say they're going to slander you, okay, make all these false allegations, exposés, and try to, tarnish your reputation. But the publicity, you have to ride on that. Use that to your benefit. How you market that will determine how things go forward. You have to use that to your benefit. And I really am really betting on Tyla being able to use this to her benefit. She needs to be able to pivot and expand her market. She did that collab with Becky. Look into the Latino market as well. She needs to be able to expand her market. Do not rely on these people. Do not do it. You can see their hostility that they have towards you right now. Because remember, Phil Show, he's taking the side of Charlatan the fraud. They're both in cahoots in on it together. These are both, Black American identified, pro black, right? They're both in on it together. Like they want to try to humble you to submit to them.
kind of the deal. So when some people said from South Africa, why y'all so concerned about race? Like y'all
And then we have another gentleman here. It's Elroy Swartz. Morning, guys. Just got home from work. I'm here for this. This is another South African colored gentleman. Shout out to you. Appreciate you being here. Interesting discussion we got going on. So let's continue with this.
like, hold on, brother and sister in South Africa. Come on now. Now you listen. You ain't talking to Charlemagne. You talking to me now. Y'all did go through apartheid, and that's all about race. Y'all still dealing with the legacy of apartheid. I know it's a lot of racism going on in South Africa. So y'all still
There's a lot of racism going on in South Africa. A lot of racism going on everywhere. Okay. Doesn't mean that they're going to submit to pro blacks because once you do, a lot of these multiracials, mulattoes, they figure out once they submit to pro blacks in their racism claims, the pro blacks end up turning on them and they end up being racist to them. They start calling them tragics and tragic mulatto and all the other little terms. Like they end up turning on your ass if you submit to them. Look at this image. Yeah. Because they end up being the racist. See, they're mad that the whites are above them, right? So, but they need somebody to be beneath them to feel better. So they look at the mixed people. They're like, okay, let me weaponize the one drop rule to try to punk you and humble you because they want to feel better about themselves. We all see the game. I'm trying to tell these mulattoes, don't be underneath them. They got to pay you. If they want something, they need to pay, period. Look at his image. You got all these white people here talking about apartheid. Got a black guy here, but all these white people here. What the hell? You got white people marching with your ass. They've always have civil rights, even slavery, all the abolitionists, right? You've always had these white people fighting with your ass, right, to help you out. So why the hell is he still complaining? Like I said, Phil Show already got his reparations. He has a non-black partner. Okay, he already got his reparations. Why is he still crying? Because there's a buck to be made. Okay, I get it.
dealing with race. So what do you mean why Americans are concerned about
Talking about race, but you got these black, dark skinned guys, Bantus, okay, military fatigue with assault rifles. Do they look like they're, does racism look so bad with them? They got fucking assault rifles in their hands, right? Military, they're employed. And I talked to some of the colored gentlemen here in the chat in one of my other streams where a lot of the law enforcement they have in colored communities are these blacks. You got Bantus who are employed to police in colored communities is like kind of an overseer, I guess, class. If I can say it like that, I'll have to, I need more data to, be comfortable putting it in that position. But what I'm saying is that they employ some of these guys over the colored communities when colored people need to be hired to police their own neighborhoods for other colors, right? But I'm looking at this image. Phil Show his editors did not do a good job as far as talking about this, like you know, the discrepancies with the racism in South Africa. When you got a black guy here, employed by the government with a whole assault rifle, doesn't look like he's oppressed to me. Guys, come on, guys. His editors kind of screwed up with this one. I first saw this, I was laughing. Give me a break. Talk about racial oppression. This guy's got a whole fucking assault rifle, military fatigue. Who the hell's gonna oppress him?
race when y'all dealing with racism in South Africa
Dude's got body armor and shit on. Who the hell's oppressing him?
constantly? And
Look at that military equipment talking about racism, oppression. Fuck out of here.
the color community, they aren't treated nice either. They're not. They're not like they above anybody. You know what I'm saying? So Tyler just needs to get with Black Americans and surround herself with Black Americans and let them teach her. Like
You guys hear all that? I'm gonna rewind it too. So Tyla just needs to get with Black Americans, like I kind of put on the thumbnail, right? Tyla just needs to get with Black Americans, surround herself with Black Americans, let them quote unquote teach her. All of this translates to basically let Black Americans humble her so she can be a subordinate to them. That's so she's not her own person. She's a colored artist. She doesn't identify with Black Americans, period. You guys see that? How he's trying to rephrase things, the semantics. She just needs to get with Black Americans, or her career gonna fizzle out because we the guardians of the culture. Could they not like us? You dig? Right? Tell that to J Lo. Tell that to Shakira. Tell that to Taylor Swift. Tell that to Drake. They think they got to win over Drake, but Drake ain't going nowhere. Now they're trying to talk shit about Drake. They're saying that he's aging and stuff or something like that. He's stressed out from the beef and he's aging and all this stuff. Like the guy's got millions. I don't know. And most of these people dancing to that song, they're poor and broke. Talking about a man that's got millions in a private jet. But hey, they you know, this is the culture, right? I just love the semantics here. Tyla needs to get with Black Americans and learn from us. No, she doesn't. She's doing everything she needs to do. Make good music. People will support it. Period. Make good music. People will support it.
With Black Americans and surround herself with Black Americans and let they're not. They're not like they're above anybody. You know what I'm saying? So Tyler just needs to get with Black Americans and surround herself with Black Americans and let them teach her. Like she needs some Black management, and I think she'll be okay. But
You see what he's saying? She needs a Black management as well. Because remember earlier he said, oh, I think she has a white manager and she has a white boyfriend. You see how he threw that in there? You see that? So we already know where his mind is at. Like, who gives a damn what that woman does? Her business, her private life, that's on her. But he brought it up. He's like, oh, she has a white manager and she got a white boyfriend. But Phil advice show, you got a whole fucking Mexican wife. I mean, you can this is the pro black fuckery, all for the whole world to see.
if she keep hanging around the people she got, she gonna crash and burn. Nobody gonna listen to it, and she gonna be on a plane right back to Johannesburg somewhere.
You see how he tries to talk down to her. If she don't get good with the blacks, she gonna crash and burn, jump right back on a plane back to Johannesburg because the black American, they hold the culture. They rejected her, right? The black Americans, look, they're gonna, like I said, they're gonna go resort, tell on tell their white massa that this mixed person's being uppity. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna tell their white massa, okay? And when they're white massa, then there's nothing effective. They don't move the kind of, the needle, so to speak. They resort to savagery or extrajudicial activities. This is what's going to happen, right? They're not in a position to dictate. They don't have the businesses or industry or the marketing machine or media, right? That's what I'm sitting here trying to think. Like, he's so cocky. He thinks he actually like runs shit out here. Oh, if you don't get with the blacks and get a black manager, get a black boyfriend too. You know what I'm saying, right? While this guy's got a Mexican girl or wife, he's start trying to sit here and say, "Oh, your career is gonna crash and burn." Like he's trying to make this argument that she needs Black American for her music. People like good music. She's like, "Oh, you're gonna go back to Johannesburg." She's doing good in Johannesburg. There's a woman, a colored lady I follow. We both follow each other, right? Mutual connection, and she loves Tyla. She should. And I love to see that, like this colored representation. And like she has like a ton of fans in South Africa, and she's got fans in America. I'm a fan now. I'm a big fan, especially because she's not gonna bow down to these type of pro whacks like Phil Advice Show and Charlatan. These other characters who want to basically try to humble her and embarrass her. She doesn't owe them anything. They need to just shut the hell up and listen to her music. Okay, because it's funny, the pro wax, they don't say nothing to any of these other artists they like. They all love Tom Cruise. They all love their favorite white actors. Notice they never try to get anybody else to identify as black. They only play this shit with these, people of African descent. So multiracials, whether they're colored or Dominican or mulattoes, right? They only play this shit with you guys. They never try to convince the Latino to deny their, Latinness, if I can say that. That's a word, They never try to convince white people like Eminem to deny being white. They'll accept him into the culture. They'll accept all these other groups, right? There's no extra like requirements. They only pull this shit. It's a humbling tactic. You got to go to them and hire them as a manager and learn the history. And then they'll invite you to the cookout. Right. Yeah. Okay. Cool. How much does it pay? That's my question.
I'm telling you, because too many Black Americans are kind of complaining about her, and I just wanted to kind of explain it. And then also some of this, some of the jabs that's being taken at Black Americans about Tyla. Listen, let's call it what it is. Y'all don't defend Tyla's community in South Africa. Y'all do not defend colored people. Y'all don't do that at all. So come on now. That's just be 100. Let's be completely 100 about that. So that's kind of strange how some of you acting about her. I get it. She from your country.
He's mad because the black South Africans defend her. That's what that's all about. What he just said right there. He's upset because black South Africans are defending Tyla against black Americans, because black Americans, they have the American mindset where they want to weaponize the one drop rule to humble mixed people. And where in South Africa, colored people have their own racial designation, right? And then the black people who are proudly black in South Africa, they're like, oh no, leave her alone. She's colored. That's a thing over here, right? So this guy, he's mad about that. So all that Pan African shit doesn't seem to be working out that much. And he knows that. That's why he has multiple channels. He has the pro FBA ADOS channel, Black Delegation. Then he has the African Dysphoria Network, which is his global black family Pan Africanism, even though he's married to a non-black Mexican, right? So he's playing both sides, the Pan African and the FBA. How many people call him out? Not that many. I mean, you can't really call him out because he's got millions of subscribers and followers, his whole business. Like, he's too large. Even he was able, basically, with having a non-black partner, still being able to kind of ride this wave and still have people tuning in, listening to him and all this shit. Like, you can't really check him, right? But I can, question and challenge his logic, which is very, it's very obvious that it's a political agenda. They have nobody else that they can humble. They need a subordinate class that they can humble to make themselves feel better and feel good about their position. So they look to multiracials around the world, not just in America, but the colored in South Africa and the Dominicans in DR. The black Americans look to these other multiracials to try to punk them and humble them and be like, well, you need to come to us. If you want to be like us, come to the cookout and dance with Kendrick Lamar. You need to be like us, right? And dance like us. Put your hot sauce on your chicken. Be like us. Let us punk you and make you a baby mama. And then you could be like us, a part of the hood. You dig? Right? That's that kind of shaming ritual. Shout out to Light Skin History. That's what it is. Shaming ritual. Try to shame you and humble you to be a part of their group. I just have too much pride. I don't. That's for me. And I think Tyla, I can see the same thing. She has an intact family. Her mother, her father's there. Like, she's just too much pride. It will work on a lot of people, but not everyone.
Country. I get it. But at the same time, you can't come to another country and then not know the way they move. Just like I can't go to South Africa and not know how South Africans move. It's just that simple. You just respect where you at. That's all. Whether you're in a different neighborhood or different country, just respect where you at and you good. So, Tyla, maybe she'll turn it around. Hopefully she gets the right management, but wait.
Maybe she'll turn around. Hopefully she gets the right management. Maybe she'll turn it around. See the comments here. We need to stop claiming people who don't want to be claimed. Let her do what she wants. Right. And they want to claim people who don't want to be claimed because it's out of their own self-hatred and their own insecurities. That's all it, boils down to. Bruno Boy is a prime example that you don't need American friends to be worldwide success. I think Bruno Boy is a Ghanaian, I believe, or he's like an African guy. Yeah, you don't need Americans to be successful. I told you, like, even Shakira, we could take with the Latin American music, for example. She can fill up a whole stadium. I've worked a couple concerts of her. I've worked other popular artists. And there's no blacks in the whole damn stadium. 10,000, 15,000 people, or arena, I should say. And they can go across the major cities in America, fill up their arenas, sell their music and merchandise. Like, it's this falsehood, this that they try to pretend like you need them when they need you. They want you to represent them because they want to be more palatable to white people. That's what Kendrick Lamar did with Drake. He wanted to use Drake to get a white audience. That's what they all did. ASAP Rocky, the rest of them. Officer Ricky, Rick Ross, they want to use these mulattoes and multiracials to get access to white people. That's all it is. And they're trying to trick your ass thinking you need them to get what? A hood pass? Bro, you're 13% of the population. It's a big world out here. I'm telling these people, get your passport, travel, build connections. Okay. You got to start it now. Look at the future. She puts here, nah, let her be her African self. She said she is not black, so why she needs us? Exactly. 69 replies, I'm not even going to get into all that crap, guys. I don't have time for that. Is people are just the people with low self-esteem trying to argue that she needs to identify as black. It's not politics. She is who she is. People are just sensitive. Exactly. Right. Let her be who she want. Then we respond accordingly. Right. Not fair. Leave Tyla alone. Why does she need to learn our culture and deny hers? Let's move and enjoy her talent. Just enjoy her music. That's it. Let's move and dance and groove. Just enjoy her music, her talent. Folks are just jealous and looking to gripe. Tyla has built her career by expropriating South African Black township culture and African American culture. She already denounced her own by doing that. She is telling the world that her culture has nothing worth noticing and worth showcasing. These YouTubers have no content. That's funny. Yeah, I'm not going to get into all those damn comments. I want to get into your guys' comments, but I think I do have something else here. One more clip. I think I do got something else I want to share. Just a real quick. Let me see if I can do that. I got to bunch you up in here. Late at night, I always use late night creeps, but you guys always pull through and show up. And I appreciate that. And yeah, I think I got a couple more. Let me start with this one. This one's kind of fun. Something about Phil Advice Show was actually in Africa. I think it was in Kenya. And he was talking about Barack Obama. I just want to share this, kind of add to the discussion. We'll get back to Tyla and your comments as well. Check this out.
For Obama.
He puts Barack Obama failed Black America. K2 K24 TV. This is like a African publication.
Because at least now,
No,
they know Kenya.
no. Please don't bring up
Yeah, Kenya. Yeah, because Obama's Kenyan father, right?
Obama, because Obama was the biggest disappointment to
Really?
Black America and
No
also
way.
Kenya as well.
No
Yes.
way.
Yes, he did not do nothing for Black people.
Mm.
Not a
I laugh at that argument. Obama did nothing for Black people. None of you people asked for shit. None of you asked what they want because they have such low self-esteem. They just want other mixed people to represent them. They want other mixed people to be proud, right? To be Black and be overly zealous and overcompensating. That's what they want. That's what they voted for with Obama. They didn't ask for shit. They had no agenda written out. Can anybody tell me or prove me otherwise? Can someone please put a comment? What the hell did they ask? What did the Black Caucus ask for? What did any of these political leaders ask for Obama? No, they just wanted him to win because they wanted a Black face in a high place. Right? This is all they wanted. And Barack Obama's mixed, anyways. And then they're crying and complaining they have buyer's remorse. He didn't do nothing for Black America. Phil, you and everyone else, none of you people asked for shit. See how the ungrateful nature of a lot of these people? How the hell are you upset that you didn't get nothing when you didn't ask for anything anyways in return? I don't understand that logic. He didn't do nothing for us. You people didn't ask for shit.
thing.
Mhm.
We believed in Obama.
Mhm.
I voted for Obama.
Yeah.
But Obama didn't do a thing for Black people. He did something for immigrants, which most of is south of the border, Latin America.
And he's married to one of them. He's like, oh, Obama didn't do nothing for Black folks. He did stuff for immigrants. Oh, and most of them are south of the border, Latin America. Yeah, and you're married to one of them, Phil. So yeah, you already got your reparations. See, he got a deal out of that. He's trying to trick black audience, you know, that nothing, we didn't black people didn't get nothing out of it. Black people didn't get. He's trying to rile them up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You guys didn't ask for shit. But wait a second. Phil Advice Show has a Mexican wife. So wait a second. Yeah, Phil Advice Show indirectly he did get something out of the whole ordeal because his Mexican partner, was able to bring in her relatives, etc., have a larger family. You guys got to call it out for what it is. Okay, guys, come on.
South of the border, Latin America. He did something for LGBT.
Yeah.
He did something for the white bankers, but he did nothing for Black America. So no, we don't.
Because Obama exposed the fact that you guys are not politically organized, and you guys had no demands. You didn't ask for anything. You just thought that, oh my God, he's part black. He's going to help us out. What? I mean, what have you done, Phil, to help out black community? I guess inform them with your media, channel, I guess. But they don't ask none of these other black, athletes. They all support Michael Jordan. Did Kanye West do anything for the black community? See, they never ask anything for these entertainers, these wealthy black people. But they see a mulatto who's half black, and they expect him to cure cancer for them and all this shit. Right?
Respect him in Black America. Sorry.
Really?
No, we don't.
That is so interesting to hear.
the
Like,
truth.
we would have never thought
Well,
that.
it's something because he done nothing. We expected Obama to be the first black president, right? We was happy to see him, his beautiful family. We expected him to go in and do something for Black America. I understand you.
He expected him, but nobody takes you seriously because you didn't draft any type of formal, I can say, a treaty. I don't know. There's nothing you presented in writing, like a contract or an agreement to give to the president's team to say, hey, we need support here. And Barack Obama did pass the My Brother's Keeper, which was directly for they used the language there, the liberals, the colored community, people of color in America, which would mean Latino and black boys, to help them out, right? When fraternity, get jobs, etc. It's called My Brother's Keeper. That was an initiative that was passed by Obama. Not that many people talk about it, but there's black men and black male spaces who do bring that up, that was something that Barack Obama did implement that directly impacted some more upward mobility for black males in America. But they use the language of people of color, but that includes Latinos into their, but there were still a lot of black males, black men or boys, whatever. I think it was mostly targeted for the younger people to have benefits and mentorship and job resources. It's called My Brother's Keeper. I think they actually employed Barack Obama's administration employed Steph Curry to be a spokesperson for that specific initiative. So he did do something specifically for black people, but then you have these ungrateful bastards like Funky Phil, who's like, well, he didn't do nothing for us. He did something for people south of the border. Yeah, he's married to one of them, and then he's talking about LGBT, but it's like on a large grand scale, black America, their political kind of upper class, they didn't draft any type of agreement or contract to say, what is Obama going to support them with. I just haven't heard of those in 2008, right? When Obama went to office, was in office for 8 years. I didn't hear of no contract or any type of, what was he going to do for you? You guys just wanted to have a black face in a high place. Okay. And that's what you got. Congratulations.
President of everybody. I get it. But we expected something from him. He did nothing but just kind of push us to the side. Well, I can't only do something for black people. Oh, I'm the president of everybody. But yet he's doing.
Remember, guys, it's so disgusting and despicable when you hear this guy talk like this, when he's married to a non-black partner. He's married to a Mexican woman, but he's so pro-black. You're like, what's going on here, bro? Like, you're trying to cover up your self-hatred, your low self-esteem with this pro-black crap. But we already get it. Like, you are committed to a non-black woman. Am I the only one that's seeing this, guys? Because it's like, oh, Barack Obama didn't do nothing for black people. He pushed us to the side. I'm like, bro, Phil, you got a non-black partner. It looks like you push black women to the side to get yourself a Mexican woman. What the hell is this guy talking about here? But he has a straight face saying this crap in front of the whole world and other black people. And honestly, it's sadly a lot of black people kind of, soak it up and suck it up. If I was a black woman, that would be like the first thing I would mention. Like, wait a second, why aren't you married to a black woman? It is what it is. Let me continue on.
Something for everybody else but black people, because he's part of the Democrat Party. And the Democrat Party has a mantra of a benign neglect. In other words, we will not do nothing for black people. We won't promise them anything, but we just want their votes.
Yeah, benign neglect. And of course, he got those talking points from Dr. Claude Anderson, because that's basically their kind of political think tank leader, the Harvest Institute, where all the pro-wax get their ideas. Jason Black, Tariq Fraud-Sheed, all the other Afrocentrics in America, they get all their, political talking points from this mulatto, Dr. Claude Anderson. Very typical of them. Let's see. I think I got one more here before the kind of minor, technical difficulty. Let's check this out. Check this out, guys.
That they stole?
The different African dialects they stole.
It says right here, Jesse Lee Peterson destroys woke progressive nonsense. I don't know when this clip aired. I don't see a date here, but I saw someone share this on TikTok. So I was like, oh, let me take this and bring this over here on YouTube. But I'm just as a disclaimer, I don't like Jesse Lee Peterson. I'm not a fan of him. Okay. I feel like he's just a little bit too overboard. And it's like, but he does make some good arguments, like in this video clip here. That's why I'm sharing it. But overall, I'm not a subscriber or a supporter of either of these people here. But I'm using this in this example just because just listen, watch this.
So we didn't come here speaking English.
But white people speak English. They don't speak African dialect.
So
They hate that mess.
when we came,
so you came off the ship speaking black stuff?
What is black stuff? African language.
Yeah, you came off the ship speaking that.
My ancestors did.
What's preventing you from speaking it now? All you do is go learn it and speak it. No one cares.
What's preventing me from speaking it now? Because number one, we lived in a colonized society. We speak a colonized language.
You see that language, that communist language, colonized. We live in a colonized society, right? See that communist language? Married to a non-black woman, mixed kids, because he wants to be in bed with the winning team. That's why he dilutes himself, right? This is what it is. Like that language there, it's like, it's that proud victim talk as well.
Man. And so unfortunately, we have to teach our children English.
You know, why is it that black men such as yourself don't feel embarrassed publicly complaining about white men and how they're holding you back? And you got all these excuses. Normal men don't have excuses.
That's funny, normal men. I would love to hear your explanation of normal men. But the thing is this.
Men who are not like women.
We should.
Oh, these guys covered that clip. We're laughing at it. Yeah. Yeah. The thing is like you said, men that are not like women. And that really irked the Phil Advice show when Jesse Lee Peterson asked him that. Like, why don't you feel embarrassed complaining about white men? You talk about we're in a colonized society. And this is a guy, like I said, that has a non-black partner, Mexican partner, because he wants to be in good standing with the colonized. He knows he can never have, skin bleaching cream and change his race. So what he's going to do is get a non-black partner, have a mixed kid, dilute himself, and live vicariously through his mixed kid. That's his way, right, of joining the team, the winning team, so to speak, the future. That's their method to do that. Because he knows he can't change himself indirectly. He doesn't have the money like Michael Jackson, right? So, the reason why I shared this clip, like I said, I'm not a fan of Jesse Lee Peterson, but that question there that he asked, like, why are you so proud and you're not embarrassed to walk around and say it's another man's fault for holding you back? Well, we live in a colonized society. Like using that language, being proud to being colonized. Like, why are you so comfortable about that? And then this same individual who's so comfortable being colonized with his Mexican wife, non-black wife, Phil Advice show, he wants to turn around and act like he's got some authority out here, trying to tell Tyla, you need to get back good with Black Americans. You need to be good with Black Americans, because if you don't, shit, you're going to go jump right back on your plane and go back to Johannesburg. Because you got to get good with Black Americans, or we ain't going to go to your concert and buy your albums and your merchandise, because we're known for buying all that stuff, you know. That's what he's saying. Like, he acts like flexes on the mixed people like he has power. But then when you turn around, you examine him, he's crying about white people, so you don't have power. Come on, which one is it? Which one is it? Which one is it?
Such as yourself don't.
You can go out there and speak that language. You can do all that. Matter of fact, you can pack your shit up and go back there if you want to. Nobody's stopping you. But why do you hold allegiance to a country that sold your ancestors into slavery? Why you hold such a strong allegiance? Yeah, loyalty. Yeah, you're a loyal slave. That's all you are. And I don't see no white people walking around here speaking African, wearing a bunch of African clothing. Stole our culture. They raped our women. They did some horrible stuff. Yeah. But that's in the past, brother. You got to let that shit go. Yeah, you conflating what happened in the past with the present. That doesn't apply to nowadays. Yeah. That doesn't apply today. Yeah. You're conflating two different things. Let it go. It's done. It's over with. And then he brought up that they killed, raped, and
the thing is, we have to understand when you deal with them, like a lot of them, like Phil Advice Show, his type, is they can't let it go because that's literally their operating system. That's their identity is built around that. That's the kind of unfortunate conundrum that they're stuck in, that their whole identity is built around this oppressor and the oppressed, the colonizer and the colonized, this dichotomy, right? Where they're measuring themselves based on this other group. And secretly, out of underneath all of that, they're wishing for the validation to get closer to whiteness. And they look at you as a proxy, I'm saying you as a mulatto, as a proxy, as a tool to get closer to that. And oftentimes these mulattoes, because they want to fit in, they want a place of belonging, they want a tribe, they get suckered and hoodwinked into falling into that. Very unfortunate. I'm going to check out some of these comments and see what's going on. Might drop the link. Who knows? What is it? Thursday night? Thursday night, I'm feeling kind of excited. I'm feeling super excited because I got a lot of shit going on this next week. Gonna have a time of my life. You put here, Phil has no authority, just a weak dog barking. Yeah, basically, yeah. And it's unfortunate. Like I said, I used to be subscribed to Phil. And I used to listen to, him, watch him. But over the years, as I've matured as an adult, you start to question things and traveling this country more and just working, going to school, being around certain people. And you realize, like, I reflect on myself, like, what the hell am I doing? What am I doing? The way I was doing things wasn't working. I've come across Black people talking about to decolonizing their diet. Yeah, don't eat the white man's food, right? Including suits that are European invention. Yeah, he's wearing a European invention, right? Suits and all that. How does one decolonize their diet? You can, yeah, even something so small as shoes invented by Greeks. Yeah. Let's send Phil mulatto soup. You got to send me some mulatto soup. Shit, I want some of that mulatto soup. Yeah, the Hodge twins don't identify as mulattoes. You are correct. And a lot of your mulattoes on the right, they don't identify as mulattoes. They either A, identify as just American, or B, they identify as a token Black for the Republican Party to help maneuver the Black Democrats, some of them, into the Republican Party. So they operate as basically kind of tools or tokens, a token essentially. Yeah, a lot of these mulattoes, there's most of them, I would say, on the right, they operate like that. They don't even identify as mulatto, right? I mean, one woman, someone asked me too, is on TikTok. He asked me, is a guy behind his TikTok page. He said, who do I look at? Which biracial celebrity do I look at as being the most kind of upfront and proud to be biracial? And there's not that many. Sadly, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm not a celebrity, nobody special, just got some balls and a voice. And he asked me that, which biracial celebrity? And I said Sage Steele, okay, who was like a sports ESPN media anchor interviewing athletes and stuff like that. But what I see in media And she's not really even a celebrity. I mean, she's on television or media, but she's not a movie star, an actress, or a musician, right? She's not an athlete. She's just like an anchor, so to speak. So to me, it's not really celebrity status, but she's the most prominent personality in media, vocal, that identifies firmly as biracial. And she's not going to bow down to blacks and denounce her white side. And see that a lot of her biggest haters are black Americans, because they want to try to pressure and bully. I'm not saying all, but a lot of them, the ones who are haters, the detractors, they want her to denounce her white side. It just identifies black, right? Which is black supremacy. And so those are going to be your haters, but she's never done that, right? And she's still going, has her podcast and all that stuff. And yeah, Sage Steele, I would say, is the one person that I see, and she's more right leaning for sure. And she identifies as biracial. But most of these people I see, I follow a lot of them, and it's just, yeah, they're just, I'm just an American, or I'm a light-skinned black. Oh, yeah, I got a white mom, but the blacks need to vote for the Republicans. Really? You guys aren't offering them anything. You said, what the hell? Whoever offers you something, right? That's who you're going to go with. That's basically kind of a primitive, animalistic, inclination. We can say that with politics and everything. Whoever's going to offer you something, you're going to go to that. And I tell these mulattoes, well, if the black Americans, they're not offering you protection. A lot of them are hostile towards you, right? Look what they're doing to Drake. They're not offering you any jobs, any money, businesses, etc. What the hell are you doing? You got to reorganize your situation arrangement with them. You got to get something out of the deal. I know a lot of you people don't like me. You don't like my delivery. Okay, go listen to somebody else. But the people who don't like me, what I've come to realize over the past 2 years as doing this content, they still listen to me. They they listen to every word I say, every second of every stream. They listen to everything. They don't like me, but they can't stop listening to me. I mean, that's baffling to me. The obsession is out of this world. Stay in Africa. Talking to Phil Advice Show, huh? Stop using colonizer things then. Yeah, like the internet, using YouTube. It's just so pathetic. He did an interview with Sneeko. Let's see. I think someone put Marco Rubio, 2028. So in the next 4 years, you think he's going to run, Marco Rubio? Black people mainly go off emotion when it comes to politics, not politics that will help them at this country. I demand Michael Jordan to put money up to protect everyone in America. If not, then careless about Jordan. Yeah, Michael Jordan doesn't have to do shit. Nobody tells him, black issues. They only say that shit about Drake, right? Oh, well, J. Cool, he's cool with blacks because he talks about black issues, right? But none of the, and Drake doesn't. He doesn't talk about black issues. Does Shaquille O'Neal talk about black issues? Does Kanye West talk about black issues? Does 50 Cent talk about black issues? All these dark-skinned blacks, Michael Jordan, none of them talk about black issues. They only pull that shit with the mulattoes. And a lot of you mulattoes are too stupid and you fall for it. You're guilt tripped. Suckers, that's on you. Sorry. We're not doing that over here, though. Black people really are jealous of Mexican Americans and Hispanic American people. The black community, a lot of them are lazy people that I think meant to put hate the Mexican American community because we work so hard. Yeah. Yeah, man. I saw a popular post on X asking Drake to put out a mixed race anthem. Probably wouldn't be best timing right now. A mixed race anthem. I mean, remember that song Drake did called God's Plan? He had all these blacks crying, giving him money. All these like disenfranchised poor blacks. He was giving them stacks of bills and shit. What happened to that? Remember that song? It has a bunch of views. It has like billions of views on YouTube, on Drake's channel, God's Plan. You see all these blacks crying and shit. Drake's dancing in the background. God's Plan, giving them stacks of money and shit. What happened to that? He wasn't giving white people no money, no stacks. It was all these blacks. But look at how the blacks did him in. You not like us. You not like us. And I tell these mulattoes, man, I laugh at it because it's such a joke now. Through my years living, and I look at this stuff, it's such a joke. No good deed goes unpunished. Make sure you get a return on your investment. And guess what? Drake has. Drake has, because all that money Drake gave out in that song became like number one, all the views. He got paid back, man. So good for him. All the marketing strategy. And they hate him for that because they hate his Jewish heritage as well. He gets hate on that. A lot of these racist blacks, they push the conspiracies on Drake, especially because he's half Jewish. And they know a lot of Jewish people are sophisticated with their money and their investments, and they hate on him for that. That he actually got a return. Drake's laughing to the bank. He didn't lose one penny off this whole ordeal with K-Dork. All it is just, oh, your black card revoked, your street cred, you not like us, and all this. Like, that doesn't mean nothing out here, bro. You guys don't run the show in this world. That's the laughable part. Yep, fried chicken is indeed Scottish. Mac and cheese is Francis. Yeah. I was born in French Canada. What's that dish called in French Canadian? It's like French fries with like sauces and stuff on it. They have a word for it. When I was in Canada, they marketed a lot of that. That's one of their top products they were selling. I don't know what the hell it's called, but it's like French fries with like sauce on it. There's a name for it. You know what it's called. Yeah, let me drop the link. I got a bunch of you up in here. Let's see if anyone wants, because I could read all these comments, but I'll be here all night. I've done some of these streams where it's like 4 hours or something. I'm like, fuck that, man. I got to get up and go to the gym and do what I do. But I'm going to drop the link if someone wants to jump up here for a few minutes. I'll be here for a few minutes and I'm going to get the hell out of here. Just put here, the pro-blacks call someone like Ben Carson, who's was he a neurosurgeon? Is he a brain surgeon? Yeah, intelligent man, Ben Carson. Or Justice Clarence Thomas, who are honorable people. Yeah, raccoons. Yeah, exactly. Hey, what's up, man?
So what's good, MV?
What's up? What you think about the topic, the discussion?
I just wanted to hop on for a second. I'm not really feeling my best, but this subject particularly makes my blood boil. And it's okay to be mad because the Bible says oppression maketh a wise man mad. But just don't go to bed on your anger. That's not what Jesus Christ wants us to do. So it's okay to be mad at the oppression and call it out and fix the situation, but just don't go to bed angry. And I want to emphasize how important it is to identify as mulatto. And I want to talk about why they want us to identify as black first, but I'm going to emphasize why we should identify as mulatto after that. And the reason why they want us to identify as black is so that they can keep us under their thumb, so that they can slander us, because this is how Satan works. He knows that Jesus Christ has given us free will. So we have to accept the terms of conditions. And if we do that, then Satan gets to run amok all over us. So if we accept them as saying we're black with them, they get to treat us however they want. They get to make the rules. And we just have to accept it at that point. And so that's why they cape so hard for the best in our community to identify as black, so that they'll be like the spokespeople for it, so that everybody will think it's cool. And that's why he does that. I want to emphasize how important it is for us to identify as mulatto. It's important because, like Envy has been telling you, that's our birthright, because we get to claim indigenous wherever we're from, whatever land we're from, we get to claim indigenous. And when we first identify as mulatto, see, what happens is that now we empower the smartest and brightest amongst us. And we get to develop institutions, we get to develop our own businesses and our own agencies, and we get to build. And I don't know how the laws work in the other countries, the other lands. You're going to have to do your research and figure it out. But I know how it works in America, that you only need like 350 to 400 people to start a town. And if you have a town, you can get a sheriff. And sheriffs get elected. And if you get a sheriff in your town, the government can't touch you anymore. The sheriff is the highest. What they don't tell you this is that the sheriff is actually the most highest authority in your town. So the government can't come in, none of that. So if you have your mulatto sheriff, no one's going to be able to come in and and touch you, tell you what to do. None of that. So you can get your own businesses going. You can get your own hospitals going. You can get your own police departments going. You can get your own farms going. You can get your own grocery stores going. And once that happens, then you're gonna see the effects of that. It's just everything's gonna go up. It's gonna your whole life is gonna start benefiting, and no one's gonna be able to make fun of you, slander you, do any of that other stuff to you, because you have your identity in Mulatto. Now, I may have left some stuff out. I know MV is good at it. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. He's good at relaying messages and communicating. He's a lot better than I am. But so I'm just gonna
Oh,
just
you're
go
good.
ahead.
You're
Okay.
good.
All right, perfect. I'm just gonna go ahead and let MV cook, and anything I left out, hey, pick up the slack for me, brother. All right, I'm just gonna hop off because I'm just gonna head back in the chat unless there's anything you want to say. I'm really not all feeling all that well, but I just wanted to hop on and emphasize the importance of identifying as mulatto.
No, I appreciate you, man. And thank you so much for letting your presence be known. Everything you said was perfectly eloquently explained. It's spot on with the whole ownership, identification, and the township community. The sheriffs are the highest ranking authorities, and everything you said was spot on. So I concur with that.
All right, brother. I'm gonna hop back in the chat. It's another great live as normal. MV, keep it up, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate your support. Thank you.
Got you.
Yeah, it's real simple, guys. Real easy like that. Just hop up on here. I am a friendly guy, friendly character, most of the time for sure. Gentleman here puts a lot of AAs have low self-esteem, claim multiracial as black because it makes them feel more comfortable. Yes. And also they kind of want to use you as a bridge, this palatability. They want to use you to get access to other groups, right? They want to use you as that tool. I'm not saying all are like that. I'm not an absolutist, but I'm saying the common, modus operandi, the common standard operating procedure, what we see today in these lands of the United States of America. I know you're in South Africa, but this is what we see where they want to use us. Just we saw with Kendrick Lamar 10 years ago. He wanted to use Big Up and Drake. He wanted to use Drake to get a whole new demographic, meaning white people. Same thing with ASAP Rocky. They want to use these mulattoes, okay, to get access to white people and other groups. A lot of people have a hard time kind of understanding that, but I get it. Their environment, how they were enculturated, that determines a lot. They'd start saying, not like us, right? Hey, to piggyback on that, I thought about this earlier today before I kind of cranked up this stream because I saw a comment you put the other day. Shout out to you because you said something where it's like, man, I've been saying I'm not like them for the past 2 years. Before this diss track came out with Drake and then Kendrick, the Not Like Us and all this shit, I've been shouting this out that I'm not like them for the past 2 years. That's why this Drake and Kendrick situation is a blessing for me. I've been saying that for the past 2 years. Kendrick's absolutely right. I don't take offense to it. I've been saying that. I'm not like you people. But see, they want to be able to tell you that you're not like them. They don't want you to tell them because then they get like, they feel hurt by that. They feel hurt. They're like, oh, you think you're better than me. You can't say you're different than me, right? Yeah, so I've been saying this. I've been saying I'm not like them for the past 2 years. Shit. If Tyla was to one day say, yes, I am black, and one of you, black people would tell her that she's not black. Yeah, she's damned regardless. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. We're not allowed to identify as black or mixed. You are allowed to identify as mixed. You just have to understand you're going to get a lot of hate for it. But they will get over it. They'll be forced to because our numbers are growing. It's inevitable. But if you identify as black, remember, you're playing by their rules. As the gentleman who was on the panel a couple minutes ago, as he stated, you're giving them the authority and the power over you if you identify with them. Then they can basically hold the keys to blackness. They can punk you, insult you, call you all the racist names, right? When you identify as not black, as mulatto or mixed, whatever term you want to use, you're taking authority back. You're taking power back. You're taking ownership, right? And personal autonomy. So they don't have any influence over you. Then you're dealing with them as an independent group. And then you can establish trade relations and be like, look, I'm going to meet you where it benefits me. If you're going to give me something, I can give you something. Fair, equal exchange. But if you identify with them, they feel like you owe them something to legitimize your presence amongst them. They feel like they don't owe you shit. They established and set up the whole arrangement to where you have to prove your blackness to them if you're amongst them. You have to justify your presence there. Now, we understand for the women, the common method the women do is they become baby mamas. They have to have a dark-skinned black guy's kids in order to justify and legitimize their presence amongst them, right? You can say a biracial woman with a white mom or whatever, she grew up around white people, right? If she wants to be accepted into that African American group, she has to have one of their kids. Okay, that's how they anchor themselves in that group. That is the process. But for the men, it's a little different. If you're like a super successful guy, then they're really going to try to claim you. But a lot of these guys, man, they get non-black partners. They get the hell away from them. Look at Vin Diesel and The Rock and all the others, Tom Morello, Derek Jeter, a bunch of others. They just, and these are the men I'm talking about, like they just get non-black partners and they move the fuck away from them. Get away from them. Go somewhere else and live your beautiful life. Morning, guys. Yeah, shout out to you. I got colored men in the chat. Let's see. Do a couple more of these comments kind of before I end things late at night, but I got a bunch of you up in here. So I noticed the blackest, most phenotypic Black American love to gaslight obvious mixed race peoples as just black. So they can feel better about their inferiority complex, crab in a barrel mentality. Thank you. That's exactly what it is, inferiority complex. Or like a guy like Phillip Scott. Let me share the image again because I like this comment where he was basically saying you need to get right with black Americans. You can't do what Taylor Swift did because you're too black. Look at this dark-skinned guy with his zucchini nose, big ass nose, taking up half of his face, talking about, he was telling Tyla she's too black. You can't do what Ariana Grande and Taylor Swift did. That's that inferiority complex he was exhibiting. And I'm looking at Tyla's parents. It's like, bro, none of these people look anything like you, bro. It's a different tribe. Yeah, so your comment is spot on, right? The most phenotypical black Americans like Phil Show, dark skin black, big ass nose, right? Loves to gaslight a Tyla who's clearly mixed. She definitely looks Indian heritage, right? Just like Kamala Harris, right? And it's just that inferiority complex. So they want to feel better about themselves. I hate how he said that. He tried to tell her, oh, you're too black to get a Taylor Swift crowd. You got to, so therefore you got to come and kiss my black butt and be our fucking tools and shit. Right. But they try that crap with the young women, the young ladies. Like then Phil Advice Show, remember he did it with that Dominican woman a few months ago. They try that with these mixed women. They see, like I said, and then they offer the mixed woman a pathway to blackness by having a kid by a black man. Like, remember Phil Advice Show said to Tyla, she got a white boyfriend. It's like, who fucking cares? That's her business. Because I had a guy on my stream when I talked about Tyla the last time. He was talking about, oh, she's with Gunna, this black guy. I was like, I don't give a damn who the hell she's with. She identifies as colored. She makes good music. And she's challenging the status quo in Blackistan. Good for her. I support her. But yeah, their pathway to blackness, like guys like Phil Advice Show, they want a woman like her to be with a black guy, right? Be absorbed and just identify as black. So they make the rules. They don't make the rules though. That's the best part about it. Because a lot of the famous Samoan wrestlers are married to black women, one being mixed. You should see all Samoan wrestlers of black wives. Appreciation post. Interesting. Wasn't aware of that. Samoan wrestlers. I'm from Southern California and I'm from Anaheim specifically. And there is kind of a tight-knit Samoan community in Anaheim. And there's other communities, like there's a community of like Somalians and stuff. But right now the Mexicans, like the largest community. Then outside the Mexican, you have like the Vietnamese. in a lot of the white Americans community, which I'm partially a part of. With a lot of them, they moved out because, mass immigration in California. So they moved to other areas in Orange County. But they do have a lot of the Samoans there. So I did go to school, to high school specifically, with quite a few Samoans. But he says not just Samoans, but also claim Polynesian as black. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we got here Sexy Red. Sexy Red is their representation. She looks nothing. She looks like something from Ghetto Gaggers. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Do I have a sound for that? Let me see. Do I got a sound? Let me see what we got here. That's funny.
Emotional damage.
Oh man, I got something else. Let me see. No, that's it. That's such a good one though. Yeah, Sexy Red is so disgusting. I saw a comment. I don't know if it was a rapper or some media personality. I saw someone who said something about when he looks at Sexy Red, she looks like her cat stinks. I don't know who made that comment. It was a black guy, Black American, but I don't know if he was a rapper or a media personality, but I saw like something yesterday or the other day or something in reference to Sexy Red. I was like, yeah, she kind of looks like she stinks, doesn't she? It's pretty sad, but she represents the culture today. I don't make the rules. I mean, people hate on me because I'm mean. Okay, well, there's a lot of mean people out here. Fucking deal with it. But Donald Trump's mean, I guess, but he's probably going to be the president. Look at the fucking vegetable they got now. Joe Biden. You guys watched his speech earlier today. I don't want to get into the politics, but yeah. They even claim that Tyla is using Black American culture when she is literally using traditional South African dances. Yeah, I can't pronounce that. It says piano. I know that's your tongue and stuff. But yeah. That was I saw a comment that a lady put that she's appropriating Black American culture. That's how they justify trying to hoodwink the lady. Well, you're already using our culture, so you need to work out a better deal with us. Fuck that. They there's Russians who are rapping, Polish people who are rapping, Chinese around the world. People are rapping. They don't own that culture anymore. Yeah. Did they start it? Yes. Did they influence it? Yes. But they don't own it. That ownership component. The sad part is they think they own all you multiracials. Okay. They think they own you. And primarily my target audience is American mulattoes, but I have people around the world listen, right? Colored and Dominican, etc. And even monoracial, white, black, all this stuff. And but the thing is, when we analyze politically some of these arguments, like a Phil Advice show and some people in his camp, they literally think they own you as a mixed person. And they try to justify it with weaponizing the one drop rule and all this other crap. And I'm trying to let people know they don't know the damn thing out here, man. And if they want to claim something, well, okay, they have to offer you something. That's it. It's going to be fair trade. Tyla is not black. If you put Tyla in the mixed neighborhood in the Bronx, full of Dominicans, Trinidadads, she'd fit right in, especially with Trinis because many are Euro, Indian, and Afro. Yeah, a lot of Trinidadians have like Indian ancestry, right? Exactly. And European. Yeah. And I'm looking at your name, Tamisha Clyde. So I'm pretty sure you're a black woman, Black American woman based off your name, but you have pride and you have honor, right? You like being a black woman, which is a very good thing, a very attractive thing, right? So that's why you're in this conversation, because you know that maybe some of the negative things I'm saying, it doesn't apply to you, right? It doesn't apply to you because you have honor and pride in who you are, right? When I speak negatively, I'm talking about the people who are duplicitous, who are playing games and who want to trick mixed people. And also they don't have pride in who they are. And one of the reasons they don't have pride in who they are is if they want to claim mixed people who don't identify as black. So I just wanted to point that out, Tamisha, because I saw a few of your comments tonight and I can tell that you definitely have pride in who you are. But yeah, you look at Tyla, look at his image here. She does not look like a black woman. And as you've said, you could put her in a neighborhood full of Trinidadians or Dominicans, and as long as she speaks the Spanish or the tongue or whatever, she could fit right in, right? Yeah. Yeah, especially like the political situation's very sad, right? With the Democrats who run most of their communities, but also the business infrastructure where it's immigrant populations, Arabic people, East Indians, Chinese, even Mexicans in a lot of these, quote unquote black communities when they're really neighborhoods, right? But you don't have like a black business class, or the political class doesn't serve the interest of the constituents in that district. The political class are serving outside special interests, the donor class, or typically LGBT because they have a lot of money, resources, and then other groups, right? Other like corporations. So it's a very unfortunate situation. But my whole thing is, I don't know, they have other issues they got to solve, but they want to they think that mixed people are going to help them, push this pro-blackness into the future. So when you have guys like Phillip Scott, who has a non-black wife and a mixed kid, they want to try to weaponize their kid, and that's why they're hell-bent on these other young mixed people like Tyla, because they want us, the mixed people, the younger mixed people, to push this pro-black shit in the future. It's like, you guys got to do it yourself. And I'm telling them, if you want me to do anything, your ass needs to open up your wallet and start to pay me. That's my position here, okay? But yeah, that's why I shared that clip of Phillip Scott all angry about Obama. He didn't do nothing for black people. Well, you didn't ask for shit. And he did do something for black people, but he included, because of your guys' nomenclature, your vernacular, people of color. So with Obama's, what was it called? It was called My Brother's Keeper. It was for young boys of color. So you had I saw images and videos of that. It was a bunch of like Latino boys and black boys. So it disproportionately did help the young colored youth of America, right? Which is black and brown. They say black and brown, which is African American and Latino, which are colored. That's, you got the language you guys use. Nothing's exclusively going to be for you. And you guys are a minority population. Like, it's never gonna not be that way in this country. But see, and they know that. That's why they want to weaponize the one drop rule against these mixed people to help them out. Like I said, my whole thing is, you guys got to pay me. Okay, you can hate all you want, that's fine, you still got to pay. Tyla would never be mistaken as a black woman. She looks obviously mixed. If I knew nothing, I would not know how to pinpoint her appearance. Yeah, when I first saw her, it's like clearly the Indian descent is very evident when you look at her, right? You see her next to her father, and she looks like her mother as well, resemblance. She's the kind of beautiful blend between both, right? Most things fried chicken were originally from Scottish. Nice. You said she looks 90% Indian. Interesting. Got a lot of comments here. I think I'm going to cut it short, actually, right now. I think I got through most of the comments. Interesting ones I saw. If I didn't get to your comment, I do apologize, guys. You guys can always leave a comment after the stream is done. You guys know I'm like a hawk. I look at all the comments and stuff most of the time. If it's a video that does really good numbers and I have like hundreds of comments, I might come up slipping. I'm not going to catch a lot of them, right? Unless I go back and thoroughly look through it. There's been a few videos like that where it's like, man, I'm not going to look at all these damn comments. But most of the time I'm pretty good, like a hawk. And I try to basically do that here, curate it to make it our space. Okay. Exclusively, I say Mulatto, but we are opening the doors. We have other people internationally who are involved in this discussion, as long as you're respectful. I don't care what color t-shirt you are, you're whatever you are, black, white, Mexican, anything, doesn't matter. If you're respectful, you can engage in a conversation, add to it, everything, you're welcome. But yeah, with the comments, like I said, guys, I'm not going to get to all your comments right now. I'm going to kind of end this, but if you want, you guys can always email me, and mulatto@gmail.com. And also I have a Instagram, right? Same handle, Mulatto Vanguard, TikTok. So, and like I said, yeah, you guys can post a comment as well when the stream is finished, and then I'll check it out and see the best I can to reply to that. See, but Tyla already has a huge following amongst white people. That's in America as well as in Europe and other parts of the world. She does not need a handful of hateful, bitter black women in America. Yes. All she has to do is keep doing what she's doing, making her music. And I think the collabs are really going to help her. That's what's helped Drake. That's how Drake became the #1 artist, entertainer in hip hop music in America. For like 15 years, since 2010, 2009, Drake has been the biggest artist. He's a Canadian guy, Black American father, but Drake's been the biggest artist in this country, United States, for over 15 years. Yeah, because all these collabs, he has so many collabs. I feel like with Tyla, this young woman, she really needs to expand her market and collab with multiple different artists from around the globe as well. I think it will do her wonders. I really do. That would be my best advice to her. She needs to keep doing what she's doing. Be proud to be colored because colored people need representation and just collab. Keep doing what she's doing. You should check out Red Supreme channel. He's always talking trash about white Americans people, about Hispanic people, and he's a PC. I know exactly who he is. I don't need to check him out. I know who he is. He's a FBA pro whack, and because he's a light-skinned black, the light-skinned blacks, they always have to cape the hardest to be in good standing with the dark-skinned blacks. And he's one of these FBA guys. Yeah, I already know who he is. And I'm not gonna watch him. I don't like it. The thing about me is I don't watch people I don't like. But I got people who don't like me, but they watch and listen to every word. They want to kind of catch me slipping. Gotcha. You said this. Yeah, you're right. I did fucking say that. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, a guy like Red Supreme or Tariq Nasheed or whatever, I don't listen to these people. Now, I will listen to people like if someone sent me this clip or this clip about Phil on this stream, it popped up in my algorithm. But someone else posted about that Dominican clip and I saw that. I was like, okay, I could talk about that. Or if you guys, like I said, you guys put a comment. I talked about the Lord Jamar, the last stream. That's because DC, shout out to her, she shared the clip. And so I get a lot of my recommendations from you guys, the audience. I serve you. So people tell me, hey, check this out, talk about this, check this out. And then that's how but I don't go around watching people I don't like. I don't. That's not a good existence. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. I do my best. Not the smartest guy. I'm not the nicest guy. I'm just one guy that's willing to have this conversation the best that I can. That's it. Phil has an old video where he mentioned Obama did something for black farmers. Yeah, you see how he contradicts himself. And Obama did have the My Brother's Keeper, right? I can do a quick Google search and see what pops up. They actually have a website. It could, this is a Christian one. Okay, there could be another one under the Obama initiative. Obama.org, the Obama Foundation, My Brother's Keeper. So it could be this was an initiative while he was in office as well, I might add. So let me pop it up. You said, yeah, because he did something for black farmers. Yeah, you see how they always contradict themselves. Obama did nothing for black folks. But you watch a video of Phil, like 2 years ago. He's talking about Obama did this for black voters. Vote for Obama. See, these bastards, they're always double speaking and backstabbing every mixed person. My Brother's Keeper Alliance is on Obama's website, obama.org. Got a black face. The front page. Mission and history. We believe communities are a unit of change to realize improved life outcomes for boys and young men of color. Didn't I tell you guys within the political apparatus, in academia, with the liberals, Obama's a liberal, okay, the Democratic, the left-leaning establishments, in their nomenclature in literature, they use the term color. They identify themselves as color. It's synonymous with like minority. If you're black and brown or whatever, even white, these are colors. So when you have the Phil Advice show, I shared that clip, he was lying his teeth off, trying to be like, oh, in the United States, there's a history of the word color. You people still use that damn word every day, lying ass bastards. Even on Obama's website right here. And this is directly to benefit men. This is a male-focused initiative. So a lot of the black feminists were really hating on Obama for this. I know about this stuff because in the black male spaces, they talked about this. Specifically with the guy, his name is Dr. T. Hassan Johnson. He talked a lot about this. He brings this up. because he's basically, positioning himself to try to get something, or being an advocate for black men using policy. And he uses this specific instance of this, my brother's keeper, and how black feminists, his argument was how black feminists were really trying to basically turn this whole initiative upside down and trying to include black women. So that's their whole gender war they have in their own community, right? Because Obama did have something specifically for the males, but they included Latinos. They said men of color. You can see here, guys, in English, it says for improve life outcomes for boys and young men of color. Of color meaning not white, basically, meaning black and brown, which is African American and Latino. So yeah, he on his website, and see it's all black men. Even like here it has a black guy here, but just with the literature they put men of color, which they're equating that to minority or black. It's synonymous with black in the United States. Look at this dark skinned guy, dreadlocks, all black guys, right? On the website. You don't even see any Latino guys. Look at that same picture here, black guys. Strengthen the MBK network and promote what works, accelerated impact in exemplary communities, right? So it's still a functional website, basketball hoop, a black guy. On the website, it's all black guys, but the literature, right? They'll say men of color or young men of color, because it's specifically aimed at the young boys to help them, give them a head start so they can get the hell off the street. Like you hear these stories about these rappers getting done in every damn week, right? When there some rapper who got done in like a week ago. His name was Fulio or some weird name like that. Like those, it's like, what, another rapper? I never heard of him. It's a bunch of rappers, man. So then they have Obama. They need the Mulatto man to develop this whole initiative to help their ass out. And how do they repay you? You not like us. You not like us. Right? And yeah, so what I want to point out with that with DC, shout out to you, because you share a lot. I mean, I'm really thankful that you're over here. In DC, you put here, yeah, he had an old video talking about Obama did something for black farmers. Yeah, and Obama did something for the young black youth, the males specifically, right? But then you have these bastards, these lying bastards like Phil Advice Show, who will jump up in there on and publicly tell everyone Obama didn't do a damn thing for black folks. And this guy, this bastard, okay, Phil Advice Show, is married to a Mexican woman, right? And they have the nerve to say that crap, and like nobody checks them and calls it out. That's the thing that irritates me a little bit, to be honest with you. I'm not an Obama fan myself. He's a liberal. But I'm sitting there, it's like you literally have it in writing. You have a whole website dedicated to a specific population, and then they still want to lie and pretend. But that's what you get when you deal with them. My whole thing is just make sure they pay you up front. Period. Make sure they pay you up front, and then you guys can talk about it later. Her dad especially looks Indian. Yeah, her dad's Indian. I don't know if he's mixed or not. Yeah, I'm not sure. Tyla was already famous before she went to America. Sure, Black American support will boost her career, but withdrawing it won't hurt her. Black Americans cannot break her because they don't make her. Exactly. They can't make and break her. I feel like she can so easily pivot from this. I mean, look at me. I'm a nobody. I'm just a guy blabbing my mouth on YouTube. I don't give a damn. All that's going to happen is I'm going to grow. My profile is going to grow. That's it. Right? They'll expose me and they'll, all this stuff, like all the publicity is only going to be good. How I pivot from it and position myself with it will determine the outcomes. So I'm nobody, but you look at someone like Tyla with her success. Yeah, for my opinion, is she just needs to continue to do what she's doing. Just make good music and network and collaborate and do your collaborations, yeah, with other people. She's only going to grow. So I agree with you 100%. That's what all of us have to do, basically. National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Yeah. Yeah. And that's one of the biggest like African American civil rights organizations in America. They have the word colored literally in their title. The acronym NAACP. They give out awards. They have like award shows every year. I think Donald Trump has a few of those awards, right? when people who are like wealthy, like philanthropists or donors, if you pay them a certain amount of money, they'll give you an award, right? For social justice, because Donald Trump probably gave him like $1 million, which is like a tax write-off for him, right? So they gave him an award. So yeah, they have the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. That's an African American organization. So the word colored is used every day in this society at the highest level and at the lower level, even in academia. It's all over the place. So like I'm saying, Phil Advice Show is a lying bastard. And that's why we need people like me to question his logic and his talking points, right? Because a lot of people watch me right now, they might have not known that when you had Phil Advice Show, who in his video saying coloreds was a bad word in America, we're like, wait a second. Why do you guys always use colored interchangeably, referring to minorities or black people? Why is that? So it's not a bad word. Okay, so cut the bullshit. And then Phil Advice Show says, Obama didn't do a damn thing for black people. And I share with you guys, Obama has an entire website, obama.org. Let me share it again. He has a whole initiative targeting the young black youth. But what language does he use? He uses the males, the young males of color, meaning black, because it's synonymous, right? Look at this. On obama.org, he has an entire program initiative to help the young men of color, meaning black males. And then you had Phil Advice Show with his Mexican wife, funky ass Phil, trying to lie to your ass, try to tell you, this mulatto didn't do a damn thing for black folks. This mulatto, you see how ungrateful? That's why I tell people, don't do nothing for free for them. They got to give you something. If you do anything for free, they're going to spit on you and stab you in the back. Look what they're doing to Drake. You don't think it's going to happen to you? Obama's got a whole initiative program here, My Brother's Keeper, right? Improve life outcomes for young boys and men of color. You look at the whole webpage, all black males in suits, etc., right? And then Phil Advice Show is going to lie to your ass and tell you Obama didn't do nothing for black folk. You got some background noise over there.
Oh, sorry about that. I didn't realize you had me on. Sorry. I just was opening up some popcorn. Sorry about that.
Nice. You got some popcorn? Nice.
Yes. Orville Redenbacher. Some popcorn. I'm sorry. I don't normally eat. I rarely go on panels, but I don't normally eat. So what did Phil do this time? I don't know what he goes by. Is it Advice Show or he changed the name of his channel?
Well, he has multiple channels. He has Africa Dysphoria, the Black Congregation, or Delegation, whatever, and then he also has the Phillip Scott Show. He has multiple. He's a full-time YouTuber, right?
I assume. Yeah, I don't know anything about. Well, here's the thing. What did he say this time about the Tyla? What was his deal about Tyla?
Yeah, so maybe you're late to the stream. I kind of covered it already.
Okay.
Basically, he was trying to pressure Tyla into identifying as black. He was trying to pressure her to identifying as black, trying to lie and pretend like Tyla needs black Americans. If she doesn't submit to black Americans, her whole career is going to fizzle out. That's what literally his argument, which I had to call out as BS.
Well, see, I'm not surprised. The problem, I've seen some of this guy's videos, and the reality with Phil, Advice Show, whatever, whatever the name of his 5 channels or how many channels on YouTube. The thing about Phil is this. He doesn't like mixed race people. He doesn't like biracial people. He doesn't like multiracial people. And this is one of the reasons that I say, if you're biracial, you're multiracial. I try to tell some of these people, the ones that are so pro, they want to be pro being monoracial, and they want to be part of a community. And I've tried to tell these people in the past, you're gonna get I haven't used this term, but it's a term I use. you're going to get your biracial wake-up call. You're going to learn the hard way that there are people that aren't going to consider you part of the community. And they don't want someone who looks like you, sounds like you, acts like you, whatever. Even if you're somebody that is raised within a community, they still don't want you to be the face of everything. And these biracial people just don't learn this until it's much too late. You got to understand, because of what has gone on, that's why you have all these problems. That's why they complain about movies and TV shows. Well, how come there is somebody who's mixed or somebody who's light or whatever? And how come you don't have actual black? See, when it comes to those, people will make a distinction, right? People like to say, "Oh, no, there are no problems, there are no distinctions. That everyone is just the same in a community, I guess a community where someone like Phil is a part of." But the reality is that's not true. Certain things come up. Guess what? They will tell you the difference, and they will tell you that you are different. And some of these biracial people don't learn. They don't learn. And so Phil, he's not aware of you, right? I guess because he likes to do videos about everything under the sun, from what little I've seen of his video.
Well, I believe he started out as kind of like a celebrity gossip, because that's kind of a major niche, the algorithm. Really? Yeah, I think he started out as like a reaction celebrity gossip, or like funny videos or something, whatever. I haven't followed him that long, but he started out, that's everyone kind of rebrands. It seems like the content creators, they, start doing one thing, they catch a wave, then they pivot to another thing.
Yeah, they change.
He started out as like a reaction type of guy. I think like someone said in my last stream, I talked about him. He was going back and forth with Tommy Sotomayor like years ago. You know who that is?
Oh yeah. Oh, I know who Tommy is.
He was going back. Phil Advice Show, like before my time. I don't even know. Like, I guess that was several years ago, because I was out of the loop. I don't watch Tommy Sotomayor, but someone in the chat posted and said he was going back and forth with him. And so I don't know. I mean, what they were talking about, maybe black relationships or something, because that's kind of the topics with those guys.
Right. So what happened is, see, so he started off doing certain other types of videos. He said celebrity gossip, and then he moved into that. These full-time YouTubers, these people, these individuals, no matter what, I don't care what it is, doesn't have to be race or ethnicity or whatever they deal with, but they go and what essentially they do is they go and find the perfect grift. Sorry, the perfect market, the perfect kind of subject matter for them. And they then try to exploit it and build an audience. And so in the case of Phil, advised, from what videos I've seen of his, and I don't watch the guy, but I've seen a few of his videos. The reality is, and I had seen something he'd done about Creoles. Here's what you have to understand. I mean, I don't think I've asked this about your audience. Do you actually have mixed race people that are in the chats or something like that? I guess you wouldn't know, but
bro, in my chat,
yeah,
mostly everyone over here is mixed race, and I honor and pride myself in curating this channel. That's why my delivery, how I speak, I want people to know that I'm catering to a specific demographic. We have South African colors in here. We have Mulatto Americans, we have Dominicans, and even Latinos. We have a bunch of mixed people. This is primarily the people I cater for. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you said that. I said that to set that up so that we have an understanding of audiences, right? So that led me to say something. You have probably some colored people I know some people will find that offensive. I'm referring to people from South Africa who are mixed race. All right. What do the colored people in the colored population in South Africa think about this whole Tyla controversy? I don't think I've talked to anyone
Well, they
from
haven't.
South Africa about this,
They're in
right?
the chat. They're in the chat, but maybe it's too
Okay.
early. It's too early for them. I don't think they're gonna hop
Okay.
on tonight. But you'll
No,
see
no,
them.
no, no. They don't need to come on the panel. I'm just curious as to what they think.
Look at my
Like
comments.
what?
Look at my
Okay.
comments. Go on my videos and look in the comment sections, and you'll see a gentleman's in the chat right now, Elroy Swartz, and also Introverted Smiles. A couple of these men, and there's actually a few South African colored women as well. You'll see them in my comments. So just examine the comments. You'll see. I think this person put this comment here for you. I believe it says
Okay.
White man, please mind your own business. You do not understand and do not need to be in black people's conversations. Interesting. No one asked you for your white opinion. It's just some troll or something. I don't know what the hell. Are they talking about me or you or who? I don't get it.
I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know whether he's talking about you or me. I'm like,
I guess I'm the white man
why
now
are you?
today. I'm the white man.
Wait. Who is he talking to? Which one of us is he referring to? So what's the name of this guy? Because I'm reading this on my phone. I'm trying to read the name of this guy or person.
Adrian, I
So
believe. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah. So right off the bat, it's a good thing I asked you about what your audience is, because that person who is a troll, apparently, that person heard that. So let me just say to this person, I don't know who's referring to, but you're on a platform that deals with mixed race people and mixed race issues. And if you're not mixed race, why are you here? If you're not biracial, you're not multiracial, you're not mixed race, why are you here? The fact that you would make a statement like that you just revealed your ignorance and your stupidity.
You know what it
Like,
also is?
Yeah,
It's
go
an
ahead.
algorithm. And what it is, it's also the algorithm is actually like pushing people to watch with this channel specifically. The algorithm is really working in my favor over here to where they're kind of pushing my content to like suggesting it to random people. So random people are finding my channel, right? That's kind of what's going on here.
Yeah, but I don't know who he's referring to. So I'm like,
They just suppose. I don't know. Maybe they saw the title Mulatto. They hear my voice. Maybe they kind of hear like a African inflection or whatever. So they kind of just feel like it's always a black channel. You're kind of black, so they're using the whole one drop rule premise. Well, you're kind
why
of
would a
black.
guy make a statement like that on this platform? This is a platform for mixed race people,
Well, they
for
think they own
biracial
everything.
people.
They think that the whole.
How do you get the temerity to come here and talk about we don't need your white opinion? Like, who are you? You're a nobody and a nothing.
Yeah, well, you got to check them because they think they own you. I mean, that's the whole thing.
It's a good thing I asked you about the audience, because this person must have heard it.
What's one
you
guy
know what the
or
audience?
gal?
Yeah.
One.
See, you know,
It's random people show up. I mean, what are you? It's a public platform,
right? That's true. I
It's not
understand.
a private stream.
Right, but if you look at the comment, the guy is acting as if somehow, like, this is some other platform dealing with monoracial issues.
Yeah, he's ill-informed.
Just the way that was written. I'm like, this is a mixed race platform. This is multiracial, biracial, mixed race. You don't get to dictate what people come up here, how they sound, what their opinions are. You don't. And if you don't like it, leave. Go.
Well,
what do you got to say about that, Mr. Troll?
For a guy like me, I have a lot of like hate watchers, okay? So, and the thing is, what happens is as well, because people can't argue my political stance or my delivery of what I say. They don't like it. It hurts them because it applies to them. So they result to other extremes to basically try to dissuade me from speaking about specific topics. This is a common method You know that with like in juries, when people have jury duty, they try to intimidate the juries to like, to make the case go a certain way. They try to use these kind of strong arm tactics. So you have cyber stalkers and cyber bullies who use similar tactics like that. So they can't argue your political points. So they try to use other methods to sway you, right? Or to silence
Right.
you or to coerce
Okay.
you. This is a common
Right.
thing. There's a lot of trolls. Like I said, there's a lot of people who don't like me. Okay, they don't like my political art, but they still listen and tune in to like gather information
Well,
or something. I don't know.
that
That's
I
normal.
can see.
Yeah, that's what's going to
I
happen.
just saw something like today. I just found out. Have you heard of this? I just found out because I'm not really on YouTube in terms of having a presence. Like I rarely do panels and anything, so I don't really know what's going on, and I'm not in the mixed race spaces anymore. So there's some channel named Golden Sphere Troll or something like that.
Yeah,
And
there's a bunch
yeah,
of channels like that.
yeah. I discovered that one today. I was looking at something and I guess they had a video on you or something like that. I mean, they had other stuff too, but
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
so
Well,
but
because I'm the big guy in town, basically. So whenever you have the more prominent voice, that's what's going to happen. People are going to highlight you, be like try to clout chase off you or humble you, so to speak. That's all
yeah,
par for the course. That's the whole process. Yeah. So we're
right,
getting
but,
we're getting close to the 3 hours here. Do you have anything
right.
else to add? Because I am going to
Yeah.
kind of close.
I was even going to talk about Phil and advice show for that stupid troll showed up, and I had to had to like deal with it. I didn't have to, but I was like, is he talking to me or you? I didn't know.
I don't know. I guess I'm the white man here, and I'm talking
Yeah,
on
I
a
don't
black
know.
conversation. I don't know.
I gather it was me, but I didn't know. Like, is he talking to you? Like, I wasn't sure. Maybe that was Phil from the Invite Show. Maybe he showed up as a troll. I don't know. He found out about this and go, "Oh, I'll be a troll." I don't know. I can't say.
Nah, not even. Not even.
I don't know because it was like it sounds like something he would say. But what I wanted to say about Phil was this: I've seen some of his videos. The guy is, he's dumber than a second coat of paint. I mean, he's not the brightest bulb in the lamp store. He doesn't like mixed race people. He does not. He doesn't really like mixed race people at all. He did some video about, I don't know what it was. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, Creoles. And I think he's from Louisiana. And he like he couldn't understand why Creoles were very, I don't know what they're like now, but Creoles were very, because they're mixed race people, of course, but they're very clannish, very, very like insular people. Probably the most insular people I've ever seen. Some of the most insular, biracial, multiracial people I've ever seen. And he didn't like that, and it was clear he had this disdain for them because they kept to themselves and they didn't really choose to be dealing with other kinds of people. And this was something that I noted somewhere too. It's kind of something that people don't understand because they don't know anything about biracial people in American history. And even I didn't know this. But fundamentally, when you look at the Blue Vein Society and some of these other groups that came about after the Supreme Court decision, Plessy v. Ferguson, and after the imposition of Jim Crow, mixed race people and biracial people, even though they were forced to be seen as black or be categorized as black, they also kind of got together, not just the Creoles, but others. They kind of looked out for number one. So when you hear a lot about this colorism stuff, in like African American communities and stuff like that, and colorism. Here's what's not being talked about: that mixed race people, biracial and multiracial people, they looked out for themselves. They were looking out for themselves in terms of education, going to the HBCUs often. I call those the historically biracial colleges and universities, because you had to have like a picture to go to those schools, sit in the picture and stuff like that. And they often, in some cities, they looked out for each other in regards to employment and hiring. And this is something that I think isn't really talked about or really discussed. So when people talk about the whole light versus dark, or the mixed is different compared to African Americans, they don't understand that mixed race people in this country, mulatto people, they always looked out for each other. They were a different people. They were a separate people, and they had their groups and organizations. And after Jim Crow came along, they had to find a way to accommodate themselves within a racist hierarchical structure that did not work for them. And so they were part of the Blue Vein Society, and they went to the HBCUs, and they looked out for one another.
Yeah, in many cases, these HBCUs were built for them, right?
Precisely.
And even some of the major builders were mulattoes, like W.E.B. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington. But a lot of like the Howard University and Spelman, a lot of these universities, they were established for the mulatto offspring of the white plantation class during that Reconstruction era. So it's a lot of interesting history there. But like you mentioned with the Brown Society, etc., and even the mulatto Bend community and the Creole communities. Yeah. The main thing you said with Phil, because I did a whole stream on that with the Creole thing, is he was mad. He said that the Creoles wanted to preserve their color. He's like, oh, the Creoles wanted to basically date and marry and be with each other. He looked at it as a negative thing. He's like, oh, they wanted to be independent from like darker skinned people. And my whole argument was they wanted protection. They wanted to be a protected group, as what mulattoes are doing today now. We see there's a target on our back, what they're doing with Drake and others. They want to humiliate us and harass us. We're like, look, we got to galvanize, establish cohesion. We can have protection out of that. But I'm going to close everything up right now, Al.
Right.
We've been on.
They got to learn from the past. All right. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
And to the troll.
Yeah. I agree with what he said about like learning from the past, because we do have those examples, right? We have a lot of examples, and that's kind of the main mission with this channel, is to talk about that history. But I will admit, when I give my commentary on some of these other matters, it kind of does, pretty well as what I found out is a lot of people, they want to hear what I have to say. And like I said, when you guys share information with me, share videos, I know DC is really good at that. And I check it out. I'm like, hey, this is great stuff. This stuff is congruent for me to talk about on this channel, because this all falls in line with the mission, the agenda, which is sovereignty, independence, autonomy. And we have to analyze our situation, because a lot of times we're put in this position of servitude where we're trying to basically beg another group for acceptance. And it's not working out for a lot of us, especially those of you who navigate towards this channel or whatever my other social media platforms. The arrangement that's kind of working out right now, it's not working for us. For some people it might work, right? They find it to be very noble, but for us, for me particularly, a lot of us, it's not working out. And I'm not saying I have all the answers. I never said I did. I'm just a guy with a voice. That's it. And I want to share that with you guys. And of course, you're here tuned in to listen to that. And if you guys do like this content, please let me know that you like it by hitting the like button, sharing the live stream, share the stream with somebody you think that might find this very informative. And also, when the stream is done, post a comment. Tell me you like the stream. I really appreciate that. Let's see, we got finish off these comments. Historically, biracial colleges is accurate, but also hilarious. Hoteps would lose their melanin if that phrase gains traction. Al Show is this is a mixed race platform. Your opinion is welcome. You put Phil just generally doesn't have a clue about Creoles. Creoles are a distinct group with French, Spanish, Afro, and indigenous influences. They aren't AAs who are Afro or Anglo. Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. Respect to all you guys. Shout out to all you guys. Really appreciate your engagement and your dialogue, helping me out with this stream. This has been another good stream as far as my standards are concerned. So, yeah. Until next time, beautiful people. Signing off. Peace out.